Good evening, Starcraft superfans. At least I hope you're superfans. I am Staged, and we're here to cast a little bit of CPL, but when I say we, not because I've got some kind of personality disorder, but because I am joined by a wonderful co-host here. Not on camera, we do have RiceHat from CPL. How you doing, RiceHat?
I am doing amazing. I am more than excited to cast this amazing series. I think we have some very interesting, very notable players coming up in this group. We are, in fact, doing group number 37 from week 2. I don't know if anyone caught in the original announcement, they said week 1, but that was my mistake. I thought we were doing week 1, but we're, in fact, doing week 2, and I think they ninja edited that one out. So
Well, I tell you what,
yeah.
Rice, if you made that mistake, if we had any of the real early adopters, the ones who were here before the announcement, the original stream title was also the wrong group and the wrong week, so we're all about mistakes here in Brood War Land.
See, I didn't even notice that one, so
It's only for
yeah.
It's only for the real ones out there, you know?
Yeah. Only the true fans know just, how how things go wrong under the hood.
Just how many mistakes everyone makes. They're out there counting. They've got the whole tally ready for like a hit piece video at some point.
Oh no, we're gonna get canceled.
Oh no, I don't want to see this. But all right, you're saying we got some cool matches coming up, some fun stuff. So out of the players that we've got here in the group, what are the ones we want to look out for? Who are the real all-stars that we're going to be looking for during the entire CPL season?
All right, the player I'm most excited to see play is probably Vile. For those of you who don't know, Vile in the Twitch chat is called Fartcraft Butt War.
No.
I don't know if anyone has seen him lurk around in like the various CPL streams or whatever, but Fartcraft is in fact Vile. Yes, I'm calling you out. And we are in fact going to see him play. He is a very, very good Zerg player, but I think this CPL season, he's either race picking or playing random. I think he's playing random. Vile, are you playing random? Confirm in chat.
No, he's race picking. They don't allow random actually. So he's kind of a Zertos. He's gonna be playing ZVP, but the rest of the time playing Protoss.
Oh my god, he's switching to. Is he gonna switch to Protoss like Jayan? He's like used to be Zerg, and now he plays Protoss.
It's people switch to Protoss when they need their stress levels to go down. Like, what do you have to micro? Storm? You have like maybe some Zealot micro if you're Borisu, but like otherwise it's just okay. You're not Snow. You're not gonna be Snow. We know you're not Snow. So just nice and relaxed.
But you know what? I appreciate the players who want to be Snow. And I'm hoping Vile is one of them.
Oh,
I want to see some Vile Reaver micro, that's for sure.
But otherwise, we've got 2 Terrans in this group. We've got 1 Zerg, 1 Protoss, and 1 Zertos. So should be a lot of variety in the matches, and hopefully not too much TVT. Only one possibility for that. So we'll be looking at the DVD icon hitting the corner of the screen.
Yeah. Well, not too many TVTs. I don't think chat's going to complain about that. I know as much as I like casting that matchup. But yeah, I also want to point out, very interesting that Vile is race picking between Zerg and Protoss and not Terran. Now, I don't have a Terran bias. I do have a Terran bias, but I think it might have to do with the difficulty of the races in comparison to each other, but I'm not going to say anything more.
we were talking before the stream started about your fandom of Artosis, and I'm starting to see the influence a little bit here. But we're going to go ahead. Okay.
Listen. All right. I used to also think that Artosis is like tripping whenever he like starts raging and tilting. But now after playing Terran for 2 years, I'm like, I get you, bro. You know
I started on Terran and left when I realized how hard it was. But okay, we're going to go ahead and actually get started on a game, though. We're going to go just right in order on the score sheet. So we talked a big game about Vile, but we're not going to see him for a while. So we're going to start off here with Borisu versus GoOn. And what map do we have for this week on Preseason?
This week on Preseason, we are, of course, playing on Vermeer. Vermeer is actually quite an old map. It's not even in the ladder pool anymore, but I'm pretty happy we brought it back to CPL because it is definitely one of my favorite maps.
Well, we're going to have a little bit of downtime as we get the game started, so we'll probably just go ahead and have a chat about that as we get going. But let's just see the game.
All right, let's get into it. I'm excited. I hope you are as excited as I am, but I think you are.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so we've got GoOn and Borisu on this map. Let me just go ahead and see if they've done top versus bottom. Absolutely. GoOn in the top right on Protoss, and Borisu will be in the bottom right playing Terran. But let's talk about Vermeer here for a second.
Yeah, of course. So Vermeer is considered one of the more standard maps, right? And when I say standard map, I mean like, you know, the types of maps that are 4 players. You have your, you know, high ground main, your low ground natural, your accessible third base, your, you know, high and low grounds, like kind of in the middle area, rotationally symmetrical. These are all like super standard. The thing that makes Vermeer kind of interesting though is the sheer amount of resources available, you know, on the map. We have 16 bases total, and each one of them has a gas. So a lot of times you would expect people to have like very long macro games playing on Vermeer.
Now, I feel like that's probably really good for Zerg overall because of just how gas-heavy they are. I feel like a lot of the maps ended up going more in like the mineral-only based direction, specifically to disfavor Zerg in a lot of cases.
I know what you're saying. I think I do agree. This is definitely better for Zerg because, as you know, Zerg players love their gases, and the more gas bases there are on the map, the more, you know, the Zerg has an opportunity to sneak a base sometimes.
Right.
And also just like once the game goes long, they just have access to so much gas, right? Like this is of course good for Zerg. Although we're watching neither Zerg nor
that's a fair point.
We're not watching Zerg play right now.
That's a very fair point.
Yeah, but I think in this case, I want to say that maps with more bases should favor Protoss because Protoss just has more options for expansions.
Now, the question I have, though, is with all of the high ground that we were talking about, does that make it a little bit easier for Terran being able to potentially hold against Zealots better and, like, be able to kind of hold positions across the map that are important? Or is that less of a tactical advantage for a Terran player?
That's a little bit hard to say. It sort of depends on what the Terran wants to do. So in general, if there's a lot of like, so on maps like Dominator, right? So Dominator has like pizza slices that like there's high ground and then low ground and then high ground and then low ground. For any Terrans that want to try to be aggressive, this is actually very bad because Protoss can do a lot of micro with their Dragoons around like the high ground areas. So I'd say maps that feature like prominent like high ground terrain and stuff like that probably favors the Protoss if the Terran likes to push. But if the Terran likes to go for more of a split map game, that's a little bit harder to say. That might favor Terran a bit more.
Okay, RiceHat, I'm going to cut you off here because I've got probably the first really interesting thing of this game about, like, just decisions that players have made, and that's that Borisu going for the fast expand here, but interrupting their gas to do it. Never actually finished the gas, pulled the SCV away from there, and pulled that to go ahead and make the command center in low ground.
Yeah, this is actually a very ballsy play from Borisu. This is, I think we just call this a gasless expand. It's not quite CC first, so it's not the greediest thing in the universe.
Right.
But definitely if GoOn, you know, wanted to put on some Zealot pressure at the beginning of the game, like, that would have been very, very hard for Borisu to hold. Luckily for him, that's not what happened, and it kind of seems like he's mostly going to get away with this. So, and as of right now, Borisu has the advantage.
I think that Borisu had scouted the cybernetics core for GoOn, and that kind of said, all right, I can just do a gasless expand. The thing that has me interested, though, is like actually interrupting the gas, like starting it up and then just going ahead and holding it for the expansion here. But there's so much information that Borisu is getting here.
Yeah, this is an excellent scout from him. The SCV is going to die, but not before he sees basically everything. But right. To talk again about like the opening that Borisu did, I also think it's very interesting that he started off like with the gas. I think he might have even been trying to fool. I think, okay, I think one of two or more things might have happened there. It's like he could have maybe been trying to fool GoOn into thinking he was going for a standard build, but then he like reads out a command center instead of a factory. Or he did that to prevent himself from being gas stolen from the Protoss.
Oh, yeah, that would be a big deal. Especially because he didn't start the low ground command center, so you wouldn't be able to get to just the alternate refinery. You'd have to take out the assimilator that was being built. So I think that it was there to prevent the gas steal.
But yeah, I mean, that ultimately, though, this opening is very, very good for Borisu. And as long as he's able to hold the bunker, which...
he over-repaired.
Like, you know,
look at
if
this.
he repairs it... Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, it's actually surprisingly difficult to make sure the bunker doesn't die because, like, the general rule is 1 SCV per GoOn hitting it. It's supposed to repair, but that's not even, like, perfect. So you have to constantly be checking on your bunker to see if your SCVs are actually repairing it.
And it's just like a constant mental sync as well. It's not even like you go there and you do things. It's just you have to click on it, take a look at it, and then work on somewhere else. You can't even just, like... You don't have the permanent health bars in Brood War.
Yeah, it's essentially just a constant mental tax. But look at GoOn. He's taking a really fast third base.
That is insanely quick.
Yeah, the standard for Protoss is to take a third base at 6 minutes, 30 seconds. So he's already finished. So I think he took it like a minute earlier. This must be a response to Borisu going for his greedy opener, because as Protoss, you see that and you're like, well, he's not going to attack anytime soon. I might as well just get my own Nexus and try to beat your Eco Cheese with an Eco Cheese of my own.
Now, the thing about this as well that I'm thinking about is that Borisu isn't aware of this third and is probably expecting either an Observer or a Reaver drop behind this pressure. So the fact that you haven't seen any more GoOns coming up is like, he's going to have a super fast Reaver, am I right? But that's not what's coming. There's nothing behind this except for that expand. So this could be a huge advantage for GoOn if Borisu overreacts to the threat of whatever harass or Robotech could be coming up.
Yeah, Borisu going for Siege Tank or Siege Mode as his first upgrade. This is the safe sort of build to go for as Terran. And this is definitely reinforcing, you know, your idea that, yes, GoOn is actually going to take the lead here because of his really greedy fourth.
This is wild. That was a blind expand. I don't think he had any idea that that third was up. Let me just take a look at Borisu's... Yeah, Borisu has absolutely no idea.
Oh my god. That is so greedy. Oh my, okay, so generally as Protoss, you see secret bases being taken like very, very often. Because like once you get it set up, it's actually quite difficult to dislodge, right? Because as Terran, when you do an attack, right, you either have to bring like basically your entire army, or you have to like do something a little bit sneaky, like move around with like a dropship. Because like, I don't know, as soon as you put up like the pylon wall and put like a couple cannons there, vultures can't really, you know, skirt in there and do any damage. But that is not true for Terran. If Protoss discovers that that base there exists, it will instantly die.
Just Gateway Man, go ahead and run it down. That's all you got to do. Now, the question that I've got, though, is what is GoOn looking for here? Like, just the fact that you're on 2 factory and the starport is super late, like, he's got to think there's something behind this, but what? Like, is he gonna go hunting for a new base, or is he like, oh man, you're super behind, you've made mistakes?
Yeah, I would be, like, if I was in GoOn's position, I would be totally confused right now. Like, I'm watching these 2 factories, right? There just doesn't seem to be that much stuff for Terran here. Normally, at this point, Terran would start going up to 5 factories, or you'd start seeing a command center being built in his base. Maybe you start seeing some, like, you know, a lot more tanks, a lot more units, but there really just is nothing here. So look at what GoOn's doing, and as a response, though, he's just taking another base. He's just like,
I love it.
Only 2 factories, I'ma take a base.
This game is so greedy, and I am here for it. Like, this is very much a case of, all right, I don't know what it is you're doing. I have information, and I don't see you doing anything. Time to expand.
Yeah, I think that actually is a kind of a risky move from GoOn, because honestly, if I was seeing that, I'm thinking there's a proxy somewhere. Like, he's hiding like tech, he's hiding a starport, he's hiding 5 factories. Like, something is wrong here, right?
Like, imagine if this base right here next to the barracks had, like, you know, 2 starports or a starport and 2 factories. Like, you could do some serious damage with that, but instead is like, yeah, I've had goons out here the entire time. I don't think you floated anything. I'm not afraid.
Both players are actually playing like they're greeting out of their mind. I've never seen like it's just, I don't even know what to say. It's just so greedy, so dangerous. If either player like I don't know, like if for example Boris was doing anything else, like he could just like move across the map and probably kill Goon. Like if he was like doing a 6 factor or something, or if he was actually going for some kind of proxy attack. And I mean, Goon, if the second Goon discovers that Boris has a base there, it's over for him. So
hold on. We've got Forbidden Tech coming up here. RiceHat. This is Forbidden Tech.
Is he gonna nuke?
I think he's gonna nuke. He's got a hidden base that doesn't have a comstat yet. He just got a covert ops. We're gonna see nukes.
We thought Borisu built the bottom left base for greed purposes. He actually built that base to hide his nuclear missile silo.
This is absurd. He's got the money for it. I'm just not sure if he's really like had the awareness yet to build the nuke facility.
You know, Borisu has a bit of a reputation in CPL for being a memer.
Mm-hmm.
I think now we can see why, right?
Yeah. And the thing about it too that's like really awesome is there's a huge supply of tanks like on the front line. You just showed him. And as long as you can deal with this big move out of goons, then I think that Goon's gonna actually get kind of afraid. But the problem is, look at the supply differential. That's there's 100 supply difference.
Yeah, I think Borisu might have cooked a little bit too hard here. I don't know if this nuke rush is really going to work out for him, because let's assume everything goes perfectly for him, right? Like he puts a ghost in the dropship, right? The ghost lands on like, I don't know, like one of his bases, and let's say he even gets an EMP on the Nexus, so that when his nuke lands, the Nexus dies, right? Like, what does he do after that? Does he nuke another base? How is he going to deal with the counter attack, right? He's 30 workers behind from Goon right now. Like, I fear that he might have cooked a little bit too hard, and Goon's just going to run away with the game regardless.
And if you look here too, I mean, he's got 4 idle workers, doesn't have that nuke facility there. This is an idea that was cooking, and then you walked away from the oven in a fit of ADHD.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But you know what? Like, getting away with a hidden third, like, not all Terrans can do that.
No.
Unfortunately, he's not really going to get away with it because the Protoss is greeting even harder than he is.
I mean, Goon is supply capped right now, working on upgrades, has 6 bases, heavily saturated. Yeah. I mean, I kind of think that we're in a bit of a shuttle situation where he's just going to have to go ahead and move out on supply cap.
It would be a bit of a shame, though, if, you know, Goon maxes out and then, like, attacks and Borisu literally dies before we see any nukes. I think that would be, like, the world's most disappointing nuke game. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
Well, we do have the nuke facility. The nuke silo is up. And okay, there is a ghost being made. He's got the ghost upgrades.
He's going for ghost, like, vision range, too. Like, this is so funny. He's really committing to this.
I think he already got cloak. Well. I think he already had cloak.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, get all the up.
Goon knows. Goon is now aware.
Goon needs to ignore the nuke facility. He's gotta look at that and be like, okay, I respect it.
And it's not flashing, so he's gonna think it's already done. He's gonna think the nuke's done since it's not flashing. So this is kind of a do or die minute. He's like, okay, I have to go out there and I have to kill this, or else I'm gonna get nuked in like 2 seconds. When
this is not the time to build the nuke. He canceled it. All right.
Yeah. That was important.
I'm unhappy now. I really wanted to see that nuke.
And what does Borisu have at home? A very peculiar sim city, but overall just like 5 fact and 2 starports.
All right, here's what I want. Here's what I want Borisu to do, okay? Kill your comsats, both of them. Kill both of them. Build 2 nuke silos, 1 at each base, and then what the?
It's a doom drop here.
Okay, I thought I was cooking, but apparently Borisu's cooking harder because he's just gonna recall into Protos's base manually.
This is the manual recall. I love it. But I mean, it's gonna get some damage here. That's a huge strike, but GoOn says, all right, you can go ahead and take out my main. I've got my own nuke coming. It's 100 supply advantage of gateway units.
Yeah, normally you're not supposed to base race against a Terran player because Terran can lift off your buildings and you cannot. But I fear that Borisu's not gonna win this base trade because I think Borisu would not be able to leave his main base while GoOn ravages everything that he has.
Yeah, if nothing else, you go ahead, you kill all the production, and then you just take your superior forces and go back and fight off what Borisu sent.
Yeah, GoOn definitely with the larger army, and if you look at the bottom, or if you look at the top left, he already has like infrastructure in his other base, so it doesn't actually matter what happens to his main.
There was a million gateways there too, so absolutely. Well done from GoOn. Borisu not having the best debut, but that's okay.
Dada says Borisu will win because GoOn forgot to kill his refinery in the bottom left. That would have been a crazy way to win or draw the game.
That would have been like so much exactly what I wanted to see, honestly.
All right, I think this served as a pretty good introduction to this group. We got to see GoOn absolutely playing like a greedy maniac and Borisu playing like Borisu.
Playing like a meme?
Yeah. He's living up to his reputation, that's for sure.
I respect the hell out of it, though. I absolutely respect it. It was so entertaining.
Man, I respect it too. I'll tell you right now, I also went nuke in the first week of CPL. I played against Navane. Unfortunately, for literally the entire universe, the replay broke.
No.
And so we can never see the game where I nuked Navane twice. But that's just unfortunate. We still haven't seen a nuke in CPL this season.
I want to see it, though. Like, I actually just ended up watching the infamous Nada versus Larva series.
Oh.
That was the first time I'd seen that. Somehow I'd missed that ASL season.
Mm-hmm.
So just seeing everybody lose it, hearing the Korean casters in the background losing it to the nuke.
Yeah, you can hear them, right? Like,
yeah.
It's quiet, but you can definitely hear it.
So I was really hoping for my own nuke moment, but we're not going to get it there. Instead, we're going to move on to Sudo versus GoOn. So should be a little more GoOn action, honestly. I wonder if we're going to get a king of this group, like someone who just goes undefeated in the full group.
Honestly, I think it's GoOn. The way GoOn played that last game, like,
yeah,
he knew what he was doing 100%. He was playing extremely greedy, but generally in Protoss versus Terran, Protoss players who are new don't play greedy because it's kind of one of those things where you like you think you're at a bigger economic advantage than you actually are, but really as Protoss you want as many bases as humanly possible. So I think GoOn really knows what he's doing, is what I'm trying to say.
Honestly, too, I feel like when you are in this kind of format, when you don't know who you're playing against, you kind of just fall into like a lot of ladder tendencies. And when it comes to like ladder and how you play there, a lot of times people have like 1 or 2 builds and like one style they like to play. So it's going to be like, okay, I'm always going to do like a gasless expand as Terran in TVP, or I'm always going to factory expand. And even if I scout something, unless it's like I see 2 gate, I'm not going to make any changes. It's only when I scout exactly the thing that beats what I like to do.
Yeah.
So I think that just based on that and the fact that, like you said, this is still preseason, you don't necessarily know the players, get to scout too much, you're just going to do what you're comfortable with. And with GoOn, that seems to be greed with a capital G.
Yeah, and honestly, that's respectable. Like, I feel like a lot of Protoss players fall back on doing cheesy things because Protoss is very good at that. Like, they're very good at cheese. GoOn is just like, I'm going to take more bases, build more gateways, and have way better macro than you.
And honestly, that's kind of a form of cheese. It's the idea of, you know, cheese is what you lose to if you don't scout it. And if you're down a base or two that you're not aware of and you don't scout it, you're gonna lose to that. So
yeah, for sure, for sure. But I'm interested to see what kind of playstyle Sudo is going to go for. So I've seen Sudo around. He seems to be like a regular in CPL.
Okay.
But I don't think I've ever actually seen him play. So this will be interesting for me to see at least.
especially on like an older style map and everything too, where people who've been around for longer, people who've been playing in CPL or just on ladder, if you're on an older style map as compared to something that's not necessarily as relevant on ladder, you might have a bit of an edge in terms of just like, oh, I remember how to play on this.
Yeah, that's for sure. The older players can definitely beat you purely off of experience, right? Like Sudo knows all the kinks and, you know, twists and turns of Vermeer. If he plays like 1,000 games on it, you just will eventually get a sense, like a feel for the map. But honestly, who's to say GoOn also hasn't played StarCraft for 25 years and just discovered CPL like recently, right? Like, you can never know with StarCraft players.
So the other thing I'm thinking about here too, and this is super metagaming, but with how quick Sudo was to come across the map and see GoOn space, I feel like GoOn should go for an end scout here instead of trying to go for a box scout, because that scout came in at such an early timing that it should be from an adjacent base.
That's a good point, actually. I think a lot of players have like their scouting patterns just kind of like, you know, I'm just going to shift click my probe to like the 4 bases and not think about it. But honestly, yeah, if you know the timings and you see the SED come up and you're like, this is really early. I think that was a first scout. Like, it totally makes sense to just like go across the map and the other side, right? So
now, he's not going to do that here, but it was the same time, like, I always think about that kind of stuff. Like, I try and be bigger brained than the players because I don't have as much stuff to do.
Yeah, is that true? Like, when you play, you mean?
Well, like, when I'm playing, I never think about it because I'm so overwhelmed. That's what this game does to you. But when I'm casting or when I'm watching them play, it's like...
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, it's definitely easier, like, when you're just sitting back and watching and just feel like an armchair caster. It's like, oh, well, player should have done this, right? That's definitely easier to do. And, like, I can't even, like... I can't even, like, judge you too hard for that because I 100% do it myself.
That's always like what I try to do when it comes to a game. Like, I think about it when I'm casting, when I'm watching a replay, because it's like, okay, I see this, I should react to it. I should, like, even if I don't have the knowledge, I should get the feel of like, oh, this is early.
Yeah.
GoOn's gonna go for the fast third again here. Take a look. He's got the money floating.
No way. 4 minutes?
4 minutes?
We're taking a base at 4 minutes?
This is insane. And he has it in time with range too, so it's like the fact that this vulture's getting out onto the map might actually be really disastrous for him.
So I'll tell you all the different things this instantly loses to. FD Terran, insta loss. 2-fact, insta loss. 3 tank push, insta loss. Like, Sudo is not playing particularly aggressive, and I think he might accidentally let GoOn get away with this, because you would never expect a Protoss to be this greedy. This is so greedy. Look, he's not even sending his vulture to the right base.
That's so rough. And he's just like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop you from getting a third by mining your ideal third location and not having any idea that I've got an ideal third location. It's just further away from you.
Generally, what you as a Terran is trying to do at this stage in the game is to mine up the possible, you know, third locations to prevent them from taking it, right? But he's not even going to get his vulture in the base because the pylons are already done.
But he spots it at least.
This is.
Yeah. And I mean, at that point, you know, if you can get a couple of tanks, like, I feel like you want to just start throwing down another factory or two right away. He's got a double eBay behind this, actually, from what I'm seeing, though.
Unfortunately, I don't think at this stage of the game, Terran can actually punish this kind of build. Like, he's already... did he already upgrade Siege Mode or what?
I think he's
sure.
got Siege Mode. The thing about it that has me really confused is Sudo has double eBay.
Oh, that's a mistake.
Okay.
Wait, unless he's building barracks? No, they're factories. Never mind.
No. I was saying it could be used just for, like, spotting, because eBays are cheaper than barracks.
Yeah, but it's not worth the money.
Right.
As Terran, it's, like, super important that you hit your timings, because that's ultimately what this game is for Terran, if you're not just trying to split the map, is what is the timing that I can push out against Protoss where I just, like, kill them with, like, an upgrade advantage or something like that.
It's honestly a foot race for Terran.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. But at this stage of the game, it's kind of too late to punish the Protoss, right? Like, Protoss already has the third base up right now, and if they think that you're going to try to do something like mid-game aggressive, like 6 factory on 2 base or something like that, they can literally just add 30 gateways, right? And counter it. At this point, you've already sort of lost the advantage.
And I think that's what we're going to see GoOn do in just a few minutes. Right now, I think what he's doing is just trying to drone up super powerful, but, like, he has virtually no standing army. He has 18 non-worker supply right now. And he's just going to be relying on having the extra nexuses to get his worker count up and then start just crapping out gateways.
I will say, though, despite GoOn getting such a greedy third, his probe production has not been nearly as good as it was last game. We see he only has 43 probes. That's actually less probes than the Terran. So I kind of wonder what's tripping him up this game. He should theoretically have way more, given how fast his third Nexus was.
Right. I think that, honestly, he'd done some probe cutting to get the Nexuses out faster. And that's what's kind of causing this mid-game deficit, where he's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to get some... You're kidding me. You are actually kidding me.
Well,
okay, you are kidding me. He's not setting the Nexus down yet.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have the money yet, but...
Well, he had it for a moment, then he spent it. He was like, okay, time to get some Zealots, time to get legs. So, had it there and was like, okay, there's more important things in the menu.
He's, like, kind of playing the same style as he did against Borisu, but for some reason, I think his execution feels a little bit off this game.
Maybe there's just like maybe this was played before the game against Borisu, so this was like the practice for it.
No, he hasn't gotten his bearings yet, something like that.
Right. It's like, okay, I had a rough time with this game. Let's just go ahead and try and do the same thing, but better next time around.
I see. I get what you mean. But let's take a look at the Terran. I wanna see if Terran is planning on pushing out or taking a quick third. I think with the amount of factories, I think he's going for a 5 factory, or no, he's just pushing out right now. 4 factory push from the Terran.
The 5th one's coming up, but yeah, gonna be coming out with 4 and a starport, so maybe getting Science Vessel, or maybe just getting dropships or something like that, but...
Yeah, he's also taking a bit of a strange angle, sort of walking around the high ground. This is sort of what we were talking about earlier, where high grounds favor the Protoss, because Protoss can kind of camp there and prevent the Terran from, like, advancing forward without, like, doing it really slowly and carefully.
Right.
But, okay, this is interesting. He's sort of setting up outside of... He's sort of setting up, like... I actually don't know why he's setting up here. I got nothing.
I kind of like this, actually, when you think about it, because we talked about the high ground being, like, better for the Protoss just because of their mobility and everything. And so, kind of choking out the way into the center of the map, except through the area that Sudo thinks, okay, I can't siege this yet. I can't take this until I get air units or at least some kind of spotting.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting worried for Terran, though, because you don't want to sit sort of in an area that doesn't really do, like, you don't really want to sit in the middle of the map,
right?
Unless you're trying to, like, basically, like, take, like, a base and, like, defend with, like, a forward position. Because look, Protoss just goes around.
Right, exactly. It's not actually a proper choke. It's not a proper, like, hold. He has the idea, but it's not the right execution. All
right, so we're advancing very, very, very slowly forward. I'm sort of seeing the vision, but generally when you go for a 5 or 6 fact push, you want to go fast. Like, time is of the essence here. Because once Protoss sort of discovers what you're doing, that's when they start putting down gateways, that's when they start pumping units, that's when they start getting their speed shuttles, their arbiters, and like, you know, once they kind of have enough of that, your push is just dead.
Right. But this is kind of interesting now because it's a game of chicken in terms of who wants to come out, and it looks like Sudo is going to make that push. But I think GoOn's going to have enough to hold this. Not going to be an absolute crush until the flank comes in. But
the flank does come in, and it is brutal. This entire army is just wiped out. I think, yeah, GoOn really sort of assessed the situation and was like, you know what? You're not allowed to have this this army just sitting out in the middle of the map.
And he's got a handful of gateways, but overall, I think 8 gate and 5 factory is about equal in terms of what they can bring to bear on a field. It's not going to be until he really gets the 3rd and 4th bases up and saturated that we see the production really kick off for GoOn. But take a look at how low his minerals are as compared to Sudo. Sudo has a pretty big bank. So,
yeah, they have like almost opposite banks here. I think they need to do a little bit of trading.
This is an Age of Empires, my man.
Unfortunately not. So they're just going to have to live with their respective banks here. But I think the advantage currently is firmly for Protoss, because now that Protoss has basically eliminated that forward army, Terran doesn't have the units to defend his 3rd base.
And even with that, like, the 3rd base isn't fully established even, just getting landed. And I feel like he doesn't even have the units to defend the natural if GoOn really wanted to commit to a push.
Honestly, yeah, if GoOn just started pumping units right here and now and just, like, you know, sent it, right? Like, this would be a very difficult hold for Terran.
But, all right, we do have the worker transfer for Sudo, so he is going to start actually getting some value out of that new 3rd base.
Yeah, and, but I am very afraid for Terran, because that is the most naked 3rd I've ever seen. Like, the second GoOn discovers this base exists...
Oh, he already knows. It's under an observer.
Oh, okay. Well, it's gone right now.
Yeah.
that one singular zealot is just going to go ham on the SUV.
Yeah, it takes out the mines, and now these GoOns are going to be able to deal with the vultures. The tanks might be able to get in position, though, and hold this. He's going to lose most of the workers, but I feel like you can still defend the 3rd here.
Yeah, this is actually a very nice defense from the Terran player here. He's going to lose a lot of SCVs, but at the very least, he saves the command center, which is ultimately the most important part about this anyway. So this is good for Terran.
Bit of awkward control from the Terran here in terms of having the tanks get stuck on the outside, but he's still going to get the chance to mop it up.
Yeah, it's a cleanup, a bit of an expensive cleanup, but this is not the game-winning move that GoOn was sort of hoping for.
And yeah, we definitely see that GoOn style is greed, because in the meanwhile, GoOn moved out to their 5th base, cleared out the area that they might take their 6th on, and I think that GoOn just likes to play like, I have my entire side of the map on Vermeer.
All right, what is with Terrans in Group 37 of Week 2 and taking hidden bases? This is, we're 2 for 2 at this point.
I like it, though. I think it's pretty important at this point, like, just needing to get that economy up there. But I guess the big thing that I'm thinking is that you don't want to have so many probes that you can't, or so many workers in general, that you can't field a full army. And once you get, like, over 75, 80 or so, like, that's kind of the upper bound that you would ever want to have. And that's basically 4 fully saturated bases. So a lot of times, like, over expanding isn't really doing anything but getting you more access to gas.
Yeah, I think the Protoss definitely did.
Oh no!
This base is gone.
That was a horrible.
You literally have 136 supply, and you cannot defend that. Like, there's no way, not at this stage of the game. All right, we're moving forward. He's trying to get a little bit of a revenge for that command center dying. But unfortunately for him, GoOn is doing a very good job of just sort of playing around with his army, just retreating at the correct time. But here we go. He might be starting to go back in here. He thinks that the high ground is enough of an advantage to take an engagement there. But
I think he's. I think that Sudo just lost control of his Goliath there for a moment. Now, the big thing to note about this, though, is this is only going to get worse for GoOn for the next 5 or 10 minutes or so, because the upgrade differential is swinging hard for Sudo.
Yeah, for sure. And he just lost a lot of goons for free there. That was very painful to watch if you're a Protoss player. It was very nice if you're Terran. But... now we see that Sudo is actually moving out once again. He only has 133 supply. I feel like this is a little bit early. We're getting very ambitious with our move outs. But we're going to see how Protoss responds. He has army everywhere. If he controls this properly and gets like a full 360 surround, I think this is going to be another fight.
Yeah, I feel like Sudo is continuously has the idea that he's like, I have an advantage in a really, really tight timing. And he's wrong on both counts. Like, really strong armies, really bad positions that he gets caught in.
Yeah, although GoOn sort of, he's being a little bit wasteful. Generally, as Protoss, once all the Zealots die, you kind of want to retreat the Goons.
Right.
Because if it's only Goons against tanks, the Goons lose spectacularly. But honestly, at this stage of the game, I think GoOn thinks that he can be a lot more wasteful than he actually can be, because he's not aware that Terran actually has a fourth base on the left side.
And he's also just under the impression that like he's getting a lot more resources than he actually is, even though he has like 1 million workers. Just because, again, the oversaturation, the fully saturation, the diminished returns, he's not getting that much more than 3 fully saturated bases with his 5 partially saturated.
Oh no, he catches the worker transfer, so he knows there's a base here. This base is dead. But no, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I feel like GoOn at this point should be a little bit suspicious that he has overprobed, because look, he's at 171 supply, but where are his units, right? Like, his army is so small.
And we saw that again last game as well, and I feel like that's what Sudo is constantly like. He feels like he's got an equal army, and he kind of does, but the problem is his economy is getting beat up. He is losing those workers, and overall, like, every time he gets his army crushed, he's that much further behind.
Yeah, Sudo is definitely in need of a fourth base, and fast. These little attacks, he might think that they're, doing something. He might think that they're pressuring the Protoss, but ultimately he can't actually afford to waste all of these units. He doesn't have the economy to support it, and he needs the tanks defending the fourth.
He just doesn't have any tanks on the field right now. This is all vultures. The actual army quality here is very low. And even though you're not seeing a much higher army quality out of the Protoss, just gateway units can punch so far above their weight when it comes to going into Terran mech.
Yeah, and that is exactly why, as Terran, you always want to be careful with move-outs, especially if you're not, like, maxed or going for, like, a very precise timing. Because Protoss, it's very easy for Protoss to gather all of his gateway units together and just, like, destroy any sort of push you have if you don't have critical mass.
God, there's so many vultures here for Sudo. He just constantly wants to get out on the map, get some control back. Like, this feels like a desperation play.
Oh my god, those mines might... Okay, they're like stacked on top of each other. But
there's an observer right over top of it, so they just know.
Oh, yeah.
Finds the transfer here. Not a major one.
This is a good pickoff for Protoss.
that was just like so unexpected with how like warm your voice was right there. Just you leaned right into it, got the proximity effect for Protoss.
Yeah, I mean, as Terran, right, you see a worker transfer and you're like, got him, right? But you don't realize that Protoss had like 90 workers and you just freed up 4 supply for them.
All right, so we get a High Templar storm drop just outside of the range of those tanks as well. That's got to be super frustrating for Sudo, who's already so far behind on workers, who's already hurting for economy, and just continually getting harassed now by everything.
I think another resource exchange should be in effect here. Like, GoOn really needs to donate some of his probes to the Terran army, because like they both have an imbalance in the opposite direction right now.
All right, GoOn's just gonna go ahead and try and make a whole bunch of drops at this point. He's like, all right, I'm having a hard time getting around the mines, getting around the tanks. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna go ahead and go over it all.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Terran, this drop is going to be super effective because his own supply depots is going to block his army from trying to save this. But Sudo is going to go for an attack in response. This is you know, another very desperation play here because ultimately, like, I think the game at this point is pretty much over.
It's 65 army supply against about 120, so this is basically doubled up for GoOn, and I think GoOn's just going to take this one.
Yeah, as soon as GoOn cleans up this army, there's nothing really for Terran to do at this point. And look, his other base is also... This is his economic lifeline. If he can't defend this base, he's simply out of money.
He's going to be able to defend it, just barely, but still being pulled all over the map. If the multitasking was a little bit better, GoOn could go in with a crush as well to try and take out the main army. But instead, kind of leaving that idle as he manages all of the drops. But, oh, this could be a nice flank if GoOn goes in with the other side.
Oh my god, if he catches this army unsieged, like...
Oh, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. There's nothing coming from the north.
Nah. That's a little bit of a missed opportunity for GoOn, but honestly, at this point, he could literally make every mistake in the world and still win this game, because I don't see Terran ever coming back.
He's on 19 workers. That's like literally 4 minutes into the game, you have more workers than that.
Yeah, I was like, you're talking about like, oh, he like saved that base, and I was looking at the top right, like, okay, but is he can he even mine from it? Like,
no.
Down.
And I mean, he's literally only mining on one base at the moment. He's got a couple of command centers that he could make more workers out of, but I think he's just kind of, okay, I am fully focused on just attacking. I'm going to attack and win, or I am going to lose, and I know where my bet on this falls.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he takes out 3 bases with this one singular attack. Unfortunately, that is his only win condition. He needs to take out everything on this side of the map or simply lose. But we're going to see what happens. He's actually set up in a pretty nice position here, but not all the tanks are siege. He needs to siege them right now.
They're coming out of siege. He's got a huge tank line. And there's not many zealots to tank.
That's true. His army has been very GoOn heavy pretty much this entire game. I mean, like, it sort of makes sense given his name, but unfortunately, like, with the amount of tanks that Sudo has, this makes engagements extremely, you know, difficult.
Now, GoOn does have a bunch of gateways up on the high ground too in the top left, so he could get a bunch of zealots from both directions to just sandwich this, or just continue going for goons and brute force his way through anyways. Down honestly, to less than 40 supply.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's the tap out. Wow.
Wow.
I guess mono battles really do work.
It works if you're this far ahead, at least. It works if you're this far ahead. I mean, I feel this game is a little bit unfortunate because I feel like GoOn kind of screwed up the early game a little bit. Like, he got a really fast Nexus, but he didn't get any probes. Meanwhile, Sudo was very like on top of his SCV production. So this is a bit of an unexpected sort of turn of events. And I think it all has to do with Sudo making that early push off of 5 factories, just sort of sieging kind of in the middle of the map, not really accomplishing too much with that. And then the army just, sort of dying, and all of a sudden he doesn't have any more units to defend any expansions that he wants to take.
That was exactly what I was thinking about too, RiceHat, is I was looking at it and when we saw that potential for like a bit of a trade, and then GoOn just says, no, I'm going to collapse on your forward units. That was exactly the turning point of that match. If we had an instant replay, that's what I'd be showing right now.
Yeah. And I think GoOn actually played that sort of, like, even though he had a bit of a rough start, he played that mid game actually very well. He saw that he was sieging up and taking a defensive position kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and he simply went around. And the other thing, on top of like surrounding that, on top of it being a flanking maneuver is what I'm trying to say, it also cuts off the reinforcements from Sudo. So if Sudo was trying to go for like an all-in push, just like rally all of your units across the map. He can't do that anymore because, you know, GoOn has his units in the way.
It's just like with Mutalisk Harass, when a Zerg will go ahead and park out in front of the Terran's natural and say, if your Marines are already on the map, you can't send new ones out because my mutas are going to kill them.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
But anyways, though, we've got ourselves a new match here. You know, we had some pretty exciting stuff up ahead. I think we got to tone it down a little bit. Maybe get us something a little more like popcorn material. So how about a TVT?
You know what? I'm excited. I like TVTs, and I'm especially excited to see Borisu go nuke against Terran.
I guess one of us has to be excited for it, so I'm going to go ahead and let you be the excited one, and, well, I hope the rest of the crowd is excited for me.
I'm sure we have some TVT enjoyers in the chat. Fuzzy, are you a TVT enjoyer? I think Fuzzy's a TVT enjoyer.
All right, everybody out there, if you're a TVT enjoyer, go ahead and press 1. I'm going to try and get this game started up if the servers will let me.
Blizzard! Blizzard!
25-year-old game and netcode is still hard to deal with. Alright, once again on Vermeer, we have two of the players that we have just seen now in a head-to-head. It's like we have just a 3-man series. We've got Sudo in the top right and Borisu in the bottom right. Have we had anyone start on the left side of Vermeer yet?
Huh.
I don't think so. I think it's been constantly the, top right and bottom right positions.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're right. So, obviously the players know this, and they're going to scout in the correct direction, right?
I mean, that's what we were talking about, man, the last game. It's the Yomi of scouting. You got to know how everyone else has been playing. You got to gambler's fallacy it up.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, for the longest time, my strat against playing against random players is to just assume they are one race, and it's been correct. It's been correct like a fair amount of times actually. I've successfully like 8 racks random Zergs just because I'm like, they're Zerg. Sometimes you just gotta trust the vibes. You know what I mean? You
know, I'm betting that you're right about a third of the time. And it feels like more, but I'm betting you're right a third of the time.
You know what? I think I'm right half the time because usually if they're random, they leave if they're Terran.
That's a great point, actually. I would do the same thing.
I basically never assume they're Terran because I think they're gonna leave if they spawn as Terran.
Dude, it's the Monty Hall problem. All right, bit of a high five in scouting.
All right, good job, both players. I've figured out that people only spawn on the right side.
Exactly. Vermeer only has 2 spawns. The other 2 are fake spawns.
Yeah, that's not real. It's a figment of your imagination. It's a psyop. Yeah.
Mostly similar builds here. I think, honestly, we're literally neck and neck. The health of the barracks was exactly the same between both players.
Yeah, although Sudo is going for a wall-off, which is not something you would normally see. It's not a very good wall-off because the SUV can go through.
I'm not a fan of walling in Terran versus Terran. I feel like it's just kind of a recipe for disaster a lot of times.
Yeah, I don't really like doing it either, and it doesn't really defend a lot of stuff. The only time you would really see Terrans wall off is if they make, if they make like a tight wall off and hide some kind of tech behind it.
Right. And I guess you could, like, if you have a couple of Marines coming out, if you treat it like Terran versus Protoss, where you get, like, 3 Marines to defend on, then you can stop SCVs from coming in, and even though it's not, like, a tight wall, it's big enough to stop vultures. So I guess it kind of works, but just the fact that, like, eventually you're gonna have comsats to map hack, you're gonna get discovered. So you have to have a really sharp timing attack, like a 2-fact.
Well, that's kind of what Sudo is doing here. I think he's actually going to go for a 2-factory vulture, but look, what is Borisu doing? Look on the left side of the map.
Borisu? What? No way!
What are we doing? Just hit it natural.
A hidden base across the map. Okay, I'm a Borisu fan now. I am absolutely a Borisu fan. This is so...
I've been playing this game wrong my entire life, dude. I feel like Borisu might know something that I don't.
Borisu knows the game is all about fun, and Borisu is having fun with it for sure.
Unfortunately, I think he's going to lose because Sudo is going to go for a Vulture attack.
Yeah, he's got the machine shop as well, probably to get Vulture speed, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, actually, no. So you don't see it right here, but on the production, on the production tab, he's getting an armory. So this might be actually a Goliath all in. Huh?
Maybe he's going for +1, or he's going for like a +1 timing. He's going to go for tank and Vulture, move out there, and behind it get +1 timing. This is not going to be a Goliath. I think it's just going to be trying to get like that upgrade Terran style Flash likes to do.
Man, what is Borisu doing? So he's building a proxy eBay, probably to float it in and get some scouting information. Although I don't know why he didn't just like float the barracks up. The barracks could have probably gotten there faster. But okay, we're cooking something. Yeah.
The confusion is palpable here. I feel like, from what I remember, Borisu was not very prone to using the barracks to scout. I don't remember though.
But his barracks isn't even building any Marines. Like what?
Right.
He's like, what? Okay, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. I just have to not think about it. Okay, so the eBay comes in. He sees that there's no command center, and immediately alarm bells should be ringing. 2 Goliaths already out on the map, right? Like this, Borisu needs to like research siege mode or start pumping units or something. Like he can't afford to just like.
Well, Borisu has siege mode coming, has tanks coming, and has the second factory, so it's going to be a little bit slow, but, like, it doesn't look like Sudo's in any rush. They're going to start the move out now, but there's a long way across the map.
I think Borisu might actually have, like, 30 points of IQ on me, because he's going to get away with this. Like, Sudo is going to come in here, and he can't push up the base.
And there's no natural to hit.
Yeah, there's no natural, and he has to go up high ground over like a reverse ramp. Like there's no way Sudo can actually attack here.
Especially with the tanks on the high ground with siege mode done, like he's gonna have the spotter barracks, but yeah, I think you're right. There's no way to actually get up this ramp.
Oh my god, but if Sudo, this game is 100% hinged on if Sudo sees that base or not.
He went right by it in the scouting pattern. He didn't find it at all. And this is good targeting here, too.
This is not going to...
This is going to hold. This is going to be a hold, I think. No, they're under range. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. The Marines are going to finish it off. This is crazy.
It's so incredible. And so just now, Sudo is starting their natural. No idea they're actually a full base down and like 10 SCVs down on Borisu.
Borisu is just smarter and more talented at this game than I am. I can't believe I doubted him. I cannot believe I doubted him.
There's another command center coming down here for Borisu.
I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes.
Borisu is just literally saying, okay, I'm going to take high grounds and I'm going to take weird positions that you're never going to scout.
You know what's the crazy thing? Wait. It's over.
Sudo found it. Sudo found it. But Sudo has the same army supply that Borisu does.
Unfortunately for Sudo, or for Borisu though, what he can do is set up outside of Borisu's main just to prevent him from taking his natural, and just send only a couple units over to that base. And that's exactly what he's doing. But Borisu, with the extremely giant brain play, took bottom left, which Sudo just scouted, right? Like, Sudo scouts bottom left, leaves, Borisu takes bottom left.
Yes. This is absolutely wild. Now, these workers are going to go down, but that's still a lot of mining they've gotten done out of this base. They've extracted a lot, and they're going to have this CC just... I honestly would have rather run to the top left corner, but no! Oh, that's an eBay. That's not a command center.
Oh my god, where is he floating that command center? Don't give away your location, please!
This is like such
God.
a knee-jerk thing.
I was about to say, like, Borisu has to lose every SEV in that base, because if he transfers back to...
He's transferring, and it's actually gonna work.
I am...
Mortified?
I'm gonna stop talking. Clearly, Borisu knows how to play the game, and I don't. I think that's just what we're learning here. Borisu is the best Terran player. He knows exactly how this game works. If he wants to nuke rush against Protoss, like, you know what? Go ahead. Like, you're cooking. You're cooking.
This really does remind me of, like, watching ASL and having Barracks just take builds off of, like, Flash or off of, like, other players and just crush with them. I'm not trying to spoil anybody on anything, but, like, that's just what he's done for the last several ASLs. And it's, like... It's so funny because it's so wacky gameplay, and then in the pro scene, you're like, oh, yeah, I got this build from someone else who theory crafted it. And in this case, it's like, okay, Borisu, where did you get this idea from? Like, were you cooking the whole time?
I don't know where he gets his ideas from, but clearly he's a pro at it, right? Like, he knew exactly when to take bottom left. He knew exactly which secret base would be scouted last. Like, man. But, okay, despite all this, despite Borisu half getting away with a lot of this, he's still quite far behind.
2 factories against 4, and the only real advantage Borisu has is having the starport and the second machine shop. But like the supply, not looking so good for Borisu.
Yeah, but he does in fact take his natural. So as long as Sudo doesn't think to re-scout the bottom left, Borisu is going to be an entire base ahead. And in TVT, that is quite a big deal.
RiceHat, you know what I just realized? You know how we were talking about GoOn doing mono battles last game with the Dragoons?
Mm-hmm.
Borisu is doing mono battles with command centers.
Of course. Of course. Oh my god. I mean, he built more command centers this game than I've seen, like, a lot of people build, like in TVT in total, and TVT is in fact the command center building game, but we're still only 11 minutes into this game. I think he's built
5 command centers 5? At this point? Yeah, 5 sounds right. I'm gonna be real with you, RiceHat. I have seen more command centers from Borisu this game than I see in an entire Artosis stream.
Yeah, one takes too many bases, and the other one doesn't like to take a third. Yeah, right. I see what you mean. I see exactly what you mean. Sudo has so many Goliaths, by the way. Like, his army is so, like, kind of off balance.
Right. I was just gonna ask, like, in TVT, is it common to make this many Goliaths? Like, it's usually I see tank vulture. What's the purpose of having a lot of Goliaths?
Well, the purpose of having a lot of Goliath is to basically be like a giant middle finger to wraiths and dropships. But I don't see Boris like building anything of the sort. He's just like making tanks. And he's making vessels.
That's so weird. Like, none of this makes any sense.
Goliath drop?
Yeah, there's 4 Goliaths. It's just like vulture drop, but a little bit more tanky, I guess.
I guess so. Oh my god, at the same time, Sudo is actually gonna go for it. He doesn't give a shit. He's running straight into, you know, Borisu's defenses. He might, in fact, overpower this. There are only 4 tanks here.
Oh, I think it's actually gonna work. Like, the supply differential is so big. I think Sudo realized just, I've made a lot more stuff than you have. You can't get away with this.
Yes, unfortunately, Borisu has spent way too much of his money on command centers and not enough on factories. You know, if he replaced like 3 of his command centers with 3 factories, I think this game would not be in this state for Borisu here.
Now, Borisu has made some extra factories here, but overall, just that push was really solid. Gonna lose all of the Goliaths, though. Just 1 siege tank shelling away at the command center and getting a couple of SCVs, but not gonna be enough to bring down the full base. And I think that Borisu should be able to make it in and fight this off.
Yes, but this was a very, expensive cleanup for Borisu. He's lost a lot of mining time there, and also he's down like 10 SCVs. What?
There's a nuke! He's got the nuke! It's actually up! Oh my god. We just need to see the ghost.
Like, when we cast a Borisu game, every, 2 or 3 minutes, one of us is going, what is happening?
It's just a constant, it's like an Agatha Christie novel where it's just, okay, not who's the murderer, but where's the bullshit?
Did you see the way he dematrixed his tank and held that?
Yes. And had the other tank that was under the floating barracks to make it harder to target.
I can't tell if, is Borisu S rank or is he F rank? There's no in between here, right?
I'll tell you what it is. I see this a lot in other games as well. So one of the things that is really common when people are in mid ranks, D through B rank, is you get really good at one or two things that are flashy and fun, and you forget how to do any of the fundamentals.
I think you might have described Borisu to a T here. He's really good at playing the sneaky game, doing unexpected things.
Getting two ghosts.
Oh my gosh. Unfortunately for him, he's not able to take advantage of it. And as soon as he gets found out, there's no counterplay.
And Sudo's gonna find the nuclear silo this time, and all of the SCV is just gonna get murdered.
Oh man. 3
dropships full of tanks and Goliaths also coming in the same direction. Are they just gonna intercept it?
Wait, that would be a crazy move. No way.
Borisu has no units, just a bunch of tanks at the natural.
Yeah, those tanks are in the wrong place because now Sudo doom drops the main.
Cloaked ghost! Oh my god, he's nuking himself! He's nuking himself!
Sudo sees it though. Sudo sees it. He's just gonna pack his bags and get out of there. Wait,
no! I think he canceled.
Nuke behind your refinery. Do it. Hide the dot.
Oh my! And the tanks with the D-Matrix coming up. This is like you said, either the most 10,000 IQ play or the most 2 IQ play, and I don't know which.
Certainly makes for an entertaining game, but I really hope we get to see a nuke land. I feel like we've been teased this so much this entire group.
This is just nuke edging the entire series.
Oh man, he has 4,500 minerals.
And I mean, look at this. He's not even producing out of the 3rd factory. He's got 2 active factories. Right, I thought he had more factories.
Dude, this attack is not going to work. Borisu is built only tanks and ghosts and nukes and command centers.
But at least the base over here is going to get taken down. Trying to get SCVs up on this one right next to the incoming attack.
All right, I'm going to try my best and predict what Borisu is going to do next. Top left command center.
I'm just going to assume this is going to be a battle cruiser switch, just take the science facility. Oh, there's no science facility left. It got destroyed at some point.
And also, Borisu does not have nearly enough gas to be able to afford battle cruiser. He has 4,300 minerals and 100 gas. The most efficient way to spend his money right now is to build 30 million vultures and 30 million SCVs.
Well, maybe that's why he's going for all the command centers, is because he has so much minerals.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100% right.
Okay, science facility was on the bottom behind the panel. I just didn't see it. But even then, yeah, Borisu's going to lose all of these extra bases, going to be confined to just the main and the natural at this point. But Sudo's still having a really hard time breaking through the natural. For all the map control that Sudo has, for all that we've been joking about the flashy stuff and everything, it still turns out that you have to be able to break a Terran at some point, and it's not been working yet.
Yeah, that's true. Sudo has been trying pretty hard to just like send it and end the game, and it hasn't exactly been working out for him. But I sort of like what he's doing right now. Like, he's set up outside of Borisu's second base, right?
Right.
He has a Science Vessel out front to watch out for ghosts. He's taking care of his secret bases kind of everywhere else. And pretty much Borisu is just simply running out of options, right? Like, you can only cheese and not get away with it so many times before you run out of cheeses and it's forced to leave the game.
But again, more sneaky plays, just a couple of vultures running in here with a drop. And get a couple of mines down, hopefully try and cut off some of the reinforcements, but this is going to be a decent amount of economy damage. And I think that both players at this point, if you even look at the APM, they're just getting overwhelmed at how chaotic this game is.
This is certainly a chaotic game, that's for sure. But this, even though this does a lot of economic damage, it doesn't really further Borisu's goals right now, because his main underlying issue is that his bases are going to run out of money, and Sudo is just going to take the rest of the map, and he will eventually have enough money to simply overwhelm everything that Borisu. Wait. How much money does he have on those minerals?
These minerals are huge because Borisu didn't start the natural until super late in the game.
Okay, I guess he won't run out of money.
Right, but he's only going to have one base worth of mining. Now, the problem is you're still operating on 3 factories worth of production and 2 starports. Meanwhile, up here, Sudo has 5 factory, 1 starport? And
yeah, regardless of how much money he has in his natural, he's still stuck with these 2 bases, right? 1 base worth of income. Sudo is just going to outscale him so hard that it doesn't matter how good of a position he has, he will simply lose.
Right, it's more along the lines of the longevity that Sudo has. As long as Sudo is able to continue producing things and honestly remembering to produce things, the longevity that Sudo has in this game is much higher than what Borisu has. But the problem is you have to get to that point, and you have to unsupply block yourself, both players. You have to get to the point where you have enough production to spend your money, and both of them are having issues with that, just because hard game.
Yeah, I think Sudo has not quite mastered the art of ending a TBT, which I fear that no one below A level has, including me. Unfortunately, dropships filled with Goliaths dropping onto fortified position is not how you end a TBT. But honestly, I don't really know what the best way to do it is either. But if I were Sudo, I would probably just mass up to 200 in attack.
Yep. And honestly, like, one of the big things that you're going to be looking for is you have the 2 points in vehicle attack, so you have the tanks two-shotting other tanks regardless of upgrades. So that's kind of where you want to be for upgrades. But, like, at this point as well, just building a big gas bank and having a ton of factories, you throw some stuff into the grinder, and then you come back out and you throw more stuff into the grinder. Like, even if you trade inefficiently, you just have to trade at some point.
This is a little bit of a mistake here from Sudo. His contain is not actually a perfect contain. We see Borisu slipping these vultures out and getting quite a bit of damage here.
But
yeah.
And yeah, I'm inclined to agree with the chat. We should be seeing, like, both them being out of 200 supply, but it's just been, like I said, such a chaotic game. It's really easy to lose yourself in the sauce. Oh my god, this is a huge drop from Borisu.
With D-Matrix too, that's pretty smart.
But there's not going to be any workers to kill here because they're already mined out, so you've got to hit the production. Or the supply. The supply would be huge.
Move. This is actually a really good move from Borisu.
Yeah.
So, I think he has a ghost with that army, but no nuke.
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay, never mind. Wait, did he kill his own ghost? I accidentally.
No, I still hear one. I can't see it, but I can hear it.
All right, but meanwhile, Sudo's actually going to try to end the game here. He has so many Goliaths. But Borisu might be able to defend the high ground here. Actually, no,
those Goliaths are going to make it in.
Drop. Yeah, so I think Sudo might successfully end the game with this push. And honestly, this is the right move, right? You see Borisu go for like an insane like Doom drop, and you're like, you've been mining on 2 base for the entire game. There is no way you have defenses at home.
Exactly. And I mean, we are seeing the supplies plummet. We're seeing the bases get annihilated. This might come down to just racing flying buildings. Like this could be pod racing if they really want to get down to it.
No, I think that I think Sudo's got this.
I agree.
Yeah, once you kill this base, like the thing with Borisu is that he needs to like be able to fight Sudo's army with his army, and I'm not convinced that army beats Sudo.
Oh, not by any means. You have 30 supply up here, and half of it's in dropships, and then you have twice as much supply down here, and the fact that you also have 33 workers still over here at this base. The command center in the top left is going to go down. That's one less building on the map for Borisu. Yeah, this game is just waiting for the 2 magic letters.
Yeah. Sudo even, to some extent, actually Doom Drop proofed his setup because he has 2 factories, like, in one of his expansion bases, which we basically never see Terrans do, but luckily for him, he is still able to produce, even without the main base. At least if
he had supply, he doesn't have anywhere near enough supply. So there's not going to be any production.
I just noticed that now that he's immensely supply blocked. So maybe not exactly.
All right, that's the last flyable building for Borisu. So it just comes down to supply depots, and Sudo's trying to. Yeah.
I think we might see Borisu get eliminated.
This is a very uncommon thing to see in StarCraft. And just to be clear, there are no other buildings on the map here for Borisu. This is all that's left. And I think that Borisu's actually just staying in the game just for the sake of saying, like, Borisu has been eliminated, because that's so uncommon.
Well, let's see what happens.
That's... There's no GG!
He just... Would you GG after, like, your opponent forced you to kill every building?
You know, it's a really good question. Like, I mean, I'm saying that Borisu should have GG'd because, you know, it's typically losers onus.
Yeah.
But I feel like that wasn't even salty. That was just sitting there and laughing in your chair the entire time.
You know what would have been really BM? If right before the academy dies, Borisu GG'd and quit.
Or just quit out without GGing.
Yeah.
Like 10 health left on the academy. No, that was a fun game. I might be coming around a little bit on the whole Terran versus Terran prospect. It's not my favorite. I think probably
I will have to warn you though. It's a little bit of false advertising because most TVTs do not look like that.
They don't have a nuke silo?
Quite different. Terrans are usually very adverse to taking secret bases because most of the time they don't get away with it. And Borisu definitely did not get away with it, although he was very close.
Yeah, and overall, like, one of the things, I actually do really like watching TVT. I just like to meme on it. I love how important the tech decisions are in TVT because a lot of times, especially at lower levels, people will like go into crazy like Wraith transitions or like tank versus vulture, and like just what unit you pick actually does make a big difference. But then because you just have these weird positioning matches and like, oh, I didn't scan here, so I just walked some tanks into spider mines. Like, it's so surprisingly swingy when you try to get aggressive.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, TVT just kind of feels like a matchup where when you're watching it, nothing happens, and then all of a sudden 30 million things happen at the same time, and then you go back to nothing happening. It's like both players just setting up their chess pieces, and all of a sudden every piece gets traded away and the board is empty.
No, you're setting up your chess pieces and then a cat walks on the board.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, honestly. Yeah. Just everything dies immediately.
All right, but let's just go ahead and keep moving on. We got a lot of games left for tonight, and we've had some clown fiestas already. Let's bring some new blood into here, because we've got ash.green, who hasn't had the chance to be on stream yet. So, Sudo versus ash.green, anybody?
I'm excited to watch this.
Yeah. So I think this is TVP? If not, no, TVZ. I think ash.green's a Zerg.
Green is a Zerg player, yes.
Yeah. So finally, I can talk about something that I know a little bit.
Very good, very good. Yeah, you're the expert on Zerg here.
I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I'm the knowledgeable one, or at least play them instead of play against them.
Yeah. Yeah. You know all about your Zerg, but I know a little bit about the player. So ash.green is actually quite a good Zerg player. In fact, looking at this group, if Vile, now knowing that Vile is actually like race picking Protoss, I think.
Protoss against Zerg, yes.
Protoss against Zerg. I would actually say Green might be the best player in this group.
Okay.
Just judging from the way that we saw Borisu, GoOn, and who else did we watch? Borisu, GoOn, and Sudo play.
Yeah.
I think ash.green probably is the best out of it.
Do you think it's going to be enough to be like a clean sweep of the group, though? Like a king of the group?
That I'm not sure of, and it'll depend on how good GoOn's ZVP is and how good Vile is at off racing. Because those are two kind of big question marks that I'm not sure of. It's possible that GoOn might have exceptionally good, PVZ and might wipe the floor with Green. Like, we don't know for sure, but just judging from the way these players have been playing so far, I think that Green might be able to. I think Green actually has. I think Green is just looking really strong.
That's good to hear, honestly. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to as we get this going, because we are going to get a hatch first out of Green. But one of the things I'm always looking forward to is I've heard people talk about PVZ feeling impossible for a Zerg at low levels and feeling impossible for Protoss at high levels. So with that in consideration, I am looking forward to seeing some of the Zerg matchups and everything that we get later on. But right now we've got Zerg versus Terran, and this is one that often is considered to be Terran favored at high levels. But one of the big things that it comes down to is SimCity is so important, Marine control versus Mutalisk control is so important. This entire matchup is like a constant knife's edge of one slip in micro, one slip in unit control, one slip in timing will send it careening off an edge for either player.
Yeah, you definitely have the right assessment for this, and that is exactly how I like the matchup. I love the knife's edge plays. I love the way that, I don't know, the way that you just have to micro 5 groups of Marines, 5 control groups of Marines out across the map against Defilers, against Lurkers, against whatever, against Mutas, right? This is such a fun matchup to play and to watch. But I do agree with you. The common sentiment is that Terran is favored in this matchup, especially at the high level. At the low level, it really depends on how you choose to play. So both races have the choice to play easy games or hard games, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Standard Zerg is really difficult to play, and standard, and when I say standard Zerg, I mean you go for 2 hatch Muta, you do a lot of Muta micro, and then you get into Lurkers, you try to get a 3rd base, you get into Defilers, and then you try to get a 4th base, right? That is actually a very, very difficult style to master as Zerg. But on the counter end to that, if you just try to play SGA Terran, which is mass bio units, mass vessel, you have to also be constantly on top of your game, right? So both players have these really difficult styles to play, but both players could also choose to play easier styles, right? Zerg can go crazy. Zerg is frequently considered a fairly, noob-friendly style to play. Lurkers instead of Mutas is another option, right? Ling Rush will kill most Terrans at low level if you execute it well enough and they don't see it coming, right? And Terran has their mech style as well.
I'm sitting here nodding along with everything that you're saying, like they can, like the chat can see me, because I am hearing nothing but truth bombs about it, and just thinking, like, every time I try and play standard and play like the pros, I'm like, my hands feel like lead weights, and I feel like I'm getting nothing done. But every time I'm like, I'm just gonna go ahead and be cheesy and like tech up or do something really stupid and weird, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so good at this game.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate truth of StarCraft, is that cheeses are just so much easier to execute. And if they catch your opponent off guard, it's really hard for you to mess it up as the cheeser, right?
Right.
But, yeah, like, it just all depends on how you want to play the game, right? Like, there's a reason why at the high level most people play standard, is because this is the way to play, where if you make no mistakes, you will never lose. But unfortunately, the make no mistakes is the hard part.
Definitely. All right, so we do have Sudo moving across the map here. One of the things that I noticed here out of ash.green is with the in-base hatchery, with the lurker tech coming up here, I kind of feel like ash.green has been taking some lessons or inspiration from Hawk. Hawk is a high-level American Zerg that's like really known for droning very heavily, and like any opportunity that he gets just trying to drone. So I feel like ash.green wants to do that, but because these Marines are coming across the map, is like not necessarily finding the opportunity to.
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying, although I think this is not the case in this game in particular, because look, he's getting lurkers and he has a lot of lings. I think he's going to go for some kind of 2-base lurker attack.
Right.
That was actually quite that was actually almost like a disaster, but it's only a little bit of a disaster now, because I think if he tried to attack with those links, he might have lost all of them. But he's, kind of wisely decided to pull back now.
I think Sudo needs to actually go home. He's going to see these lurkers. He doesn't have enough Marines to handle this. And with these lings coming out here, those lings and the lurkers can absolutely crush this army. There's not nearly enough Marines.
Sudo is playing this really well, though. He's moving back at the correct times, but unfortunately there is too many lings here, and he's going to lose everything at this point. Sudo needs to start building bunkers right now. He needs to basically panic mode, please. Let's go bunker.
No. Yeah, he's not going for the bunkers. He's just trying to get the Marines out, but he hasn't even changed the rally point. Gets rid of the lings, but these lurkers still doing a hefty chunk of damage, and they're just going to try and burrow onto the wall. Really nice micro here from Sudo. Just dancing in and out of range perfectly, really taxing the health in those lurkers.
Oh gosh, I fear that Green might just take this game here, because, I mean, there's nothing really stopping him from continuing, like, into the base, but this wall is definitely annoying to deal with. I don't think the lurkers... Actually, yeah, I don't think lurkers can actually get past this wall, which is definitely pretty annoying, but this supply depot is going to go down, and I don't know if that bunker is going to finish in time.
The bunker's not going to finish in time. There's a missile turret coming up as well, but the lurkers are ready to move. A lot of production, and I think if that tank comes out, the tank plus the comsats might be enough to hold this, but even then it's going to be so late. And here comes the lurkers onto the mineral line. The SCVs have to run. He's losing so many. Yeah, I think even with this tank, it's going to be really hard.
Yeah, even with the tank, it's going to be so hard to try to clear this out, especially now that this comsat is going to die. He's only going to have one comsat available, and that's not nearly enough scans to be able to clear everything here.
2 scans available, but he's got to use them at the right times and has to be ready to commit. 1 scan committed. Having a hard time getting the focus fire he needs.
Yeah, ash.green playing this perfectly. As soon as the scan comes down, he just unburrows and moves the lurker away. And there's not a whole lot that, Sudo can really do in response. He basically has... Oh, he loses the tank. That's rough. That is really rough.
I love the alacrity from both of these players in terms of just really thinking about their movement and position. But
the alacrity? Wow.
Yes. But overall, like, this is an easier game for Ash right now. You do have just the better tech up in their face and everything, and like it takes so much effort for Sudo. And Sudo is not dead yet. Has a lot of money, has a relatively equitable count of units, but if you take a look at the minimap, Ash has gone out and taken a third and a fourth, is checking to make sure there's no hidden bases, and is just going to make a transition into Hive Tech, I think, here at this point to really end the game. And yeah, the Hive just finished.
Yeah, I think Sudo at this point only has one comeback option, and that is to push forward with the tank and basically try to kill ash.green before Hive Tech comes up. As soon as Hive Tech finishes, like, Terran is just so economically behind that he's not going to be able to claw back from this game. But there is a very, very, very short window of opportunity where he can get damage done, and that is right now.
Absolutely. The cracklings are halfway done, and there are lings in production. There's Hydras coming out, there's an Ultralisk Den, but it's now or never. And Sudo is saying it's now, but oh, coming behind just a couple of lings, going to be trying to take out the tanks and the reinforcements. Bait back as much of a response as you possibly can. That's not going to be enough lings to handle it, though.
This is still very, very, very annoying, though, and he also spots the dropship, which is huge. He's going to come in here, but getting in a little bit too close to the lurkers, and he's going to lose the tank. That is... Oh my god, if he loses that tank behind there as well, this could be a huge disaster. He needs to defend his tanks. They're the lifeblood of this push.
Repairing, but in comes a whole swarm of lings, and they're just going to make a beeline for that tank. If the tank goes down, I think the game goes down. I think ash.green's indestructible at that point. Oh my god, 30 health.
Siege the tank. Wait, does he not have siege mode?
I don't think he has siege mode.
Oh.
That last ling does it.
Oh my god, what are the Marines doing? They're slacking. The Marines are just slacking there.
I think, it's because there's a drop up here. That's where all his attention is, the drop in the main.
This is really good. This is an excellent play from Sudo. He's going to get so much damage from here. And I don't know if ash.green has actually...
He's got enough to defend it, but he's...
even up the game.
This
might even up the game.
I mean, there's so many hatcheries. You can make one drone cycle and be ahead again.
That is true, but I don't know. You can't underestimate just how much damage ash.green did with these two simultaneous attacks here. I was not expecting the dropship to come up basically purely unopposed on the top left here, and the drone count is just so far behind. I'm not sure if ash.green has the money to go ultra the way he originally intended, but look, he has 4 Sunkens up. There is pretty much no way that a pure Bioforce can get past this, and that's why keeping the tank that's why keeping the tank alive was so important.
But doesn't have a tank at all, but there's only one lurker here, actually, and with just one lurker, you might be able to bust this even with just Marines.
Yes, that is true. Unfortunately, I don't think Sudo actually has the Marine count to make that happen. But we could see ourselves getting into a long game here. He did do enough economic damage, especially now with this second drop, he might be able to get even more damage done. He did do enough economic damage to make this game actually pretty even and essentially catch up to the advantage that ash.green originally got from the Liquid.
Yeah, and this is gonna... Oh, he's gonna go ahead and try and bust the front now that he's pulled the Zerglings away, but that lurker is doing some crazy damage. The same idea again with the 2-pronged attack, but this time not getting nearly as much value.
Unfortunately, Sunkens are so strong, and he just so happened to attack on the bottom side, which is where the lurker was positioned. Like, I don't think that, like, any player did that on purpose, but it just so happened to work out pretty well for the Zerg.
Exactly. It kind of deals with some of the pathing screwery that happens with the eggs, and the fact that there's, like, the little gap down here, so the Marines are trying to go over there, and... Yeah, even
that's true. The Marine, he might have been trying to do something smart there, where he's like, "Oh, actually, there's a weak point on your bottom side," but no, no, it didn't work out for him.
Like, it wasn't intentional by any means. I think that that's just part of the pathing screwery that happens. They try and build an arc, and they find there's an extra space there, so they prioritize it, and then the pathing matrix, and then I don't know, a lot of really complicated technical stuff that I don't understand.
Yeah, Starcraft pathing is sometimes a mystery to behold, but look, Sudo has brought in 2 tanks. He has learned his lesson and has decided that tanks are what he needs to break this position. Ultras are already out for green, but they only have +3 armor in terms of upgrades.
The big thing here is there's not really a good way for the Ultras to get out. He's actually Nidus'd them across the map to try and get them to the south side and get them a way out.
Oh my god, that's so funny. You really didn't need to do that because the siege tanks are doing a fine job of clearing the Stunkins. But honestly, like, if he attacked through there, I'm not sure he would have beaten this many Terran units.
No, I don't think so. I actually kind of like this flank, but the problem is they're coming in the wrong order. The Lings are going before the Ultras, and that's going to lead to everything dying here, I think. I think that Sudo's actually got this.
Man, I did not think Sudo would be able to come back from this game, but I feel like ash.green might have made a pretty bad mistake going for Ultra Tech instead of Defiler. If you went for Defiler instead, this base could be kept alive with like a couple lurkers and like a Dark Swarm.
Right. And this is also, you talked about like kind of the easier ways to play and everything. ash.green really did go with a very low execution approach here with the lurkers into Ultralisks. But even then, there's a lot of nuance in terms of like where you position your Zerglings when you move them in. And Sudo has been playing out of his mind this game, honestly, in terms of just controlling his Marines. Even when he's multi-pronging, he's constantly stimming exactly the right Marines, focus firing on the right stuff. This is a well-deserved win from Sudo if he takes it.
Yes, Sudo has been playing absolutely fantastic this game. Like, basically doing all the right moves, right? Like, you see them go lurker, you go tank. That is the correct move, right? You see that, you know, he's double expanded. I actually don't know if he knows that ash.green double expanded after his attack, but you see that and you're like, you know what? Like, my win condition is I just go ahead and try to kill you. And look, he you know, he saw the Stunkins and he started making tanks again. Like, this is just like overall amazing play from Sudo here. He just did everything right.
Now, one of the problems with what ash.green did this game, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit because I think we can kind of talk in retrospective at this point, is going lurker into Ultra basically is like asking for Terran to do the same thing against both. Because you make tanks against lurkers, and tanks, even unsieged, are pretty decent against Ultras. They're one of the best answers outside of battlecruisers that Terran has. You need Dark Swarm to make Ultras absolutely murder and massacre tanks.
Yeah, you very rarely see players go lurker into Ultra, and I think you might have a point there. This could be why. There just isn't a lot of good synergy between the two. Where, like, when Crazy Zerg was becoming big, it's, you know, the Zerg goes Muta, and
yes,
if the Zerg has good enough Muta micro, he can basically defend everything before the Ultras come.
And yeah, Ash is going to call GG here. Really well played from Sudo. I'm incredibly impressed. We've been talking a big game on ash.green this whole time, but Sudo, I feel like TVZ has got to be his best matchup.
Yeah, that was an incredible game from Sudo. This is that was a joy to watch as a Terran player. Like, you just like forced to lift off the natural, right? Like the lurkers camping their bottom side, and then you see behind this the Zerg taking like double expansion. It looks so hopeless, and you're like, you know what? The only thing that could possibly like make me claw back into this game is if I do damage with this tank push, and that's exactly what happened. He played everything from then on absolutely the correct way to play. Like, man.
I'm kind of I'm kind of hyped about that. Like, I'm not gonna cheer for a Zerg losing here or anything, but like, that was just good gameplay. Like, that was some Starcraft that I will root for.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And honestly, like, ash.green is not like an opponent you know you can really easily do that against, right? He's a very, very good player. Well, he's considered very good among the community, right? Like, I've played him before. He's beaten my ass plenty of times, right? Like, he's a good player, and I don't know, to be in that position and still claw your way back against someone as good as Green, like, very well done.
Maybe I'll have to try and learn a little bit from ash.green then before I get into coaching, because like we said, you know, this is week 2 of the preseason, and all that preseason is there for is to figure out just how good you are before we put you into tiers. There's not any real stakes on the line. There's not any real coaching that players have. They're coming in here with what they know, with what they have, with only what's on their back, you know?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. This is this is the joy of preseason, right? Like I feel like preseason is when a lot of players just pull out like the randomest BS because you know the games don't really matter that much. Like like they're all best of ones. Like you know what I mean?
It's like
Yeah,
the
definitely
ASL
agree
round
with
of
you there.
24, but without stakes.
Pretty much, yeah. No stakes. Like yeah, it's a joy to play and it's a joy to watch.
All right, so let's go ahead and close out the pseudo block then, because we've got one more, and we're gonna get. We talked a big game on Viletomato. He's actually the one that requested this block alongside of Borisu. So let's get the introduction of Viletomato against Sudo. It's gonna be the last one we have for Sudo for the night. So let's get it on.
All right, I can't wait.
You've been talking a big game on Vile, so like I really want to see what it is that that this player is all about.
So Vile is a very good Zerg player. So I've never really seen him play Protoss before. So this will be an interesting watch for me. Another thing to know about Vile, he is a man of many names. He when I first joined CPL, he was known as Viletomato.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, I think it was during the Montreal LAN when we all went together, we became friends with a guy named Cross, who I think is probably Canada's best Zerg player.
I would say I've heard of Cross. Like I usually hear about Cross and Striker about the same point.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Striker is another Zerg player who's very, very, very good, but he is American, I think.
Okay.
And they became friends, and at some point, Vile changed his name from Viletomato to Vile Croissant. And then at some point, he changed his name to Vile Potato. I don't know why, but he did. And now he's Vile Pomato?
Vile Pomato. Like,
Pomato?
It's potato and I can't even say it. I'm like actually struggling. It's like potato and tomato all at once.
Yeah, it's like combined or something. Like,
Yeah,
I have no idea what the lore is behind each of these names. I feel like at this point it might just be easier to call him by his actual name, which is Fartcraft Butt War.
Fartcraft Butt War, man. Now, is that like his given name? Is that his Christian name? You know, some people have like confirmed names.
For some reason, I feel like that's not a very Christian name, so I can't say for sure about that one.
Now, it also too, is that like last name first, or is that first name last name? So like, is Butt War
like,
their last name, or?
I don't know. Maybe he goes to a bar and he introduces himself as the name's Butt War, Fartcraft Butt War. I don't know.
Well, I'm more concerned too. Is like, you know, are his parents named Butt War as well, or are they named Fartcraft?
No, it's the Butt War. You know,
the Butt War clan.
The Butt War family. You know, a very famous, esteemed family in here in Canada.
A noble household.
Yeah, it's one of the many noble houses of Canada. He owns his own igloo and everything.
All right, so we've got Vile Croissant making one gate cyber, and that's going to be against, I'm guessing this looks like a factory expand here from Sudo.
Yeah, this is in fact a factory expand with a bit of an odd Sim City. I want to say this is the wrong Sim City, but basically you want to put like your supply depot to the right side of your barracks because that creates a little hole there where Marines can walk through, but Zealots cannot. But if the supply... Yeah?
I would say that's the stuff that like we didn't know in like 2003. So when I was trying to play and get like good at Terran and everything in E-Rank I-Cup, we didn't know that you had to make the right Sim City so you can keep your Marines alive against 2-Gate Zealot.
Yeah. At that point, you're just like, Terran too hard. I don't know. Right? That was kind of me. I tried playing Terran for a little bit when I was a kid and just like got wrecked by one Dragoon. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to play Terran. I'm going to play Protoss. Yeah. No, but if the supply depot is on top of the barracks, that's like a completely tight wall that nothing can get through. So if Vile actually went Zealot first, I feel like Sudo might have just lost the game then and there, but that didn't happen, so we're just going to get into a normal game.
And I feel like a lot of times you really stopped seeing Protoss go for the early Zealot. Like, that just became disfavored because it takes so much minerals. It delays your expansion by so much, and, like, if there's the bunker, then Zealots just have such a rough time. But
yeah, generally I see a lot of Protoss players don't go for that anymore. Especially, like, I feel like coaches discourage doing that at the low level. Just because, like, you want to just do something safe, right? And what's like the safest, like, most standard build you do as Protoss? You just go GoOn first.
right, you go one gate cyber, you go range, and then you harass the bunker.
Yeah, but you know what? Pressure builds are one hell of a drug. And I have noticed that a lot of players who play against me in particular find that they discover that if you build the extra Zealot, you're way more likely to win the game just because the Zealot, like, messes with my build so much in the early game.
And I think also, too, like, because CPL is kind of not a learning league, so to speak, but, like, focuses on learning, there's a difference between playing to win and playing to learn. And, like, yes, you want to win when you learn and learn when you win, but when you have a build that's just either, okay, I win or I lose, you're not going to learn a whole lot on that. You're going to learn to do that build really well, and that's it.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why a lot of coaches discourage going for early attacks, going for cheeses, going for, you know, pressure, even pressure builds. Excuse me, aren't like super favored because when you're just starting out, you want to focus on the basics, right? You want to get your pro production, you know, up and going. You want to learn what your expansion timings are. You want to learn, you know, which buildings to build in which order and how to defend, like, all the random, like, BS that Terran can pull against you in this matchup, right? So I think it makes a lot of sense, but, you know, free win.
Exactly. Now, speaking of pressure, the fact that Vile didn't really put any pressure on this bunker and hasn't really been paying super close attention to his Dragoon out front, I wonder if he's actually going to be susceptible to maybe a little bit of a pressure counterattack if we get, like, a couple of tanks together for Sudo. Just maybe a bit of a walkout. I know that he's only got one factory right now, so it's not really a big force, but I feel like there's something missing from Vile Croissant right now. From Vile Pomato.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Vile is playing this extremely standard right now, and you see the probe walkout. This is when you would normally expect an expansion to go down, is 6 minutes 30 seconds. He tried to do that, but he sees the vulture and he's like, nope, I'm not dealing with that. Yeah, Vile is playing this game like fairly like book standard. But because he didn't actually put any pressure on Protoss, Terran also sort of has the opportunity to just go for a clean, you know, mid-game push. Like, if Sudo decides to go for 6-fact and he executes it like really well, and there's no reason he shouldn't, because he was basically unbothered the entire first half of the game, then Vile could be in a lot of trouble. A lot of lower league players really struggle against this kind of mid-game aggression.
Well, we've got 4 factories coming up. I guess the big question is, are we going to see 5 or 6 for the push? Because, like, this, like you said, there's been absolutely no harassment, no pressure put on Sudo whatsoever. And if I were him, it would be like, oh my god, I finally get to play Terran.
Yeah, and the other thing about the current game state is that vulture that prevented the third base from Protoss going up, that was actually huge. It's already 7 minutes and 40 seconds and Vile still doesn't have a third base. Where's the third base? You needed it a whole minute ago.
And he's just trying to get it set up now.
You know, this wasn't a purposeful delay either. Like, he's not going Reaver, he's not going DT, he's not doing anything sneaky. It just got delayed.
Yeah, like, he's literally been going for +1, the same thing that you do in every game. He's struggling with getting his probes working. Like, this feels like mental or emotional damage even more than it does economic damage.
Yeah. The mental damage, like, you really can't underestimate that. Like, at all levels, like, if you're mentally, like, not in the right spot, like, you just start making mistakes left, right, and center.
It's just so easy to get overwhelmed, and even like just sending your tanks out on move and getting a few free shots from a Dragoon, like, that can be enough to be tilting when you're already in the state of, oh my god, there's so many things to do. But if you've been having an easy game up to that point, you kind of don't care. Like, I took 20 damage, I took 30 damage here, you know?
Yeah, I could easily picture like the two mental states, like the differences between both players, right? Like Sudo had a very clean early game, completely unbothered, able to do his build, right? Meanwhile, Vile, everything is behind now. And look, Terran built a depot where he thinks the fourth would come up for Vile. Like, if I was Vile, I saw that, I'd be like, oh my god, dude. Like, like, if I sent a probe over there and there was a depot there, like, I would already be tilting.
It's like when you get an eBay block at your natural, it's just like, dude, are you serious right now? Are you actually kidding me?
Oh my god, Sudo actually catches some of these probes here. That was good timing from his side. He only has 3 vultures though, and that unfortunately isn't enough to, you know, bust.
You can't bust a cannon with 3 vultures. Like,
no.
It takes almost a dozen vultures to bring down 1 cannon. Vultures suck against buildings.
Yeah, I believe they only do 5 damage, which is insane. Like 20 damage against light. What was it? Not light. 20 damage against small units, 10 damage against medium, and 5
damage against heavy. Yeah, or against big units.
Mm-hmm. So vultures are very good against some things, very not good against other things.
But overall, like, vultures are kind of, in the early days of StarCraft, they were so slept on. Oh my god, get some mines down, get something.
Ooh.
That is a big throwaway right there. But seeing all of those goons on the high ground might be like a mini panic mode.
Yeah, I mean, well, the good thing is Terran didn't seem like they wanted to go for like a big push, mid-game push anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I was going 6-fact and I just lost all my vultures, it's like, well, guess I'm not pushing. You know, like,
right.
You really need those units to make that push work. But luckily, he is taking his 3rd base and going for upgrades, presumably.
He's got 5 factories and yeah, hasn't really gone for any upgrades, but just getting the 3rd base down, honestly, is a big deal, because it'll let him springboard off of those 5 factories or just choose a tech transition if he wants to. But I think, honestly, just moving from, like, he actually cancels his 3rd instead of moving the tanks.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a misplay from Sudo. He really just needed to move his tanks to the right and chase off those dudes. There was really only 5 of them. I think Sudo might have gotten spooked and thought, you know, Vile's entire army was barreling down his 3rd.
Right. Just, it's so easy in this game, especially when you just don't know where your opponent is, when you don't have observers, to overreact to notifications and little things and be like, yeah, there's way too much there. Sudo keeps trying to harass this 3rd base, but just, you know, throw down 1 more cannon and it's enough to stop as many vultures as you need.
That is the unfortunate truth about playing Terran, is the second the wall off comes up, there's nothing you can do to harass that with vultures. At least just with pure vultures. You still have some options, like if they didn't build cannons sort of in the mineral line, you could drop tanks there if you made a drop ship.
Right.
But yeah, that base is pretty much invincible to harassment.
Okay, so some shuttle coming in here with a bunch of zealots, but not going to be able to drop. No speed. What we did just have happen, though, is Psystorm finished for Viletomato, Vile Croissant, whatever you want to call him. He does have a couple of High Templar over here on the high ground, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him potentially go for a move out, but I feel like if he does, that's going to be suicide.
Yeah, Vile, after canceling that 3rd base, I feel like he really doesn't need to do anything super aggressive. He knows Terran is going to be sitting back for the next little bit, so he should really just try to get his macro machine going. But look, Sudo is going for some kind of harassment play here. He has 4 vultures in the base and is starting to lay mines near the gateway. This is super, super annoying for Protoss to deal with. And Vile is going to be forced to retreat the probes.
He doesn't even get a single zealot with the mines, though. So
yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. Sometimes the mines like a mine will blow up and blow up all the mines around the mine.
Yes.
Like, that it's a little unfortunate when that happens. But honestly, this was an okay attack from Sudo. but ultimately Vile doesn't take a lot of damage from it.
Yeah, I think that if you're Vile right now, that's pretty much the best result you could hope for given the situation. And I like this idea here from Sudo. So, just made the third base, transferred some workers over, realized the drop didn't work, so he's just making another base that he's going to float into position once he feels like he can get a good position. But the problem is that this observer is right here and sees this. So if Viletomato sees that and like pays attention on the map, he's going to recognize that, like, okay, he's just kind of spamming out expansions at this point. What do we want to do? Oh, storm drop, I did miss that.
God. Was that a storm drop?
Yeah. Look at the natural is almost completely empty.
Yeah, those SCVs are damaged. If that was a storm drop, that must have been an extremely effective one because there is almost nothing left in the natural here. Actually, if you look at Sudo's worker count, wait, is he? Hold on. Sorry. I'm getting like distracted.
There's a lot going on. There's drops everywhere, there's movement, and we're yapping about stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah, but okay. What I'm going to say two things. Number one, Sudo has a very low SCV count, and this is very bad. But number two, Vile only has 4 bases and also a fairly low probe count. So both players are actually playing on very low eco right now. And Sudo just built an in-place command center, and like, I think he might have canceled his other one. And at the same time, he's going for these vulture drops that are doing like a lot of eco damage as well. And I think it's gonna...
He's actually got 2 tanks sieged below the minimap down here. So they...
oh my god, I think if he targeted down that Nexus, he could have killed it.
Nah, not quite. Not in time. But no, these drops have been doing some serious damage for Sudo. And that's 4th base for Sudo was actually a... it wasn't built in place, it was floated over. But here's a big push now from Vile. Vile's done with the cheeky stuff.
There's a lot of his tanks, but unfortunately, I don't think Vile has enough to really break through anything here.
No. And like I said before too, like this was, if he tries to make this frontal push, I feel like it's just throwing his units away. So really now is going to need to find a way of maybe catching this in transit or pulling back to a better location. So many more Dragoons coming up, but there's no Zealots to handle this.
Oh my god. There's no Zealots here, but the high ground advantage is insane, and it's just enough.
Look at the Zealots in the bottom too.
Yeah, like the tanks can't move any more forward, and there are no vultures here, so they're so vulnerable to this Zealot counterattack, or not counterattack, the Zealot flanking maneuver here. Like, that was so many tanks that just went down for Sudo. This might actually be it, like, actually, I would say it's game-ending damage, but Vile does not have the eco to kind of capitalize on this situation, so the game is still very much in Sudo's hands here.
This was decided, this was made possible by those drops that Sudo put down, just killing off so many of Vile Croissant's workers. Like, otherwise he would have had the economy to be able to continue supporting this and not be in the poorhouse at the moment.
Yeah, Vile really is in the poorhouse. Like, that engagement went really well for him, but because he only has 34 probes, he doesn't have the money to rebuild and truly take advantage of that situation. And now Sudo is like most of the way across the map. Fortunately for Vile, Sudo is also working on pretty low eco, so I think he's having a bit of trouble reinforcing this. And I think dude, I have no idea who's going to win this game, but I feel like if Sudo kind of continues on with this sort of attack, we might see Vile like break and crack under the pressure.
The thing that I'm seeing is the bank that Sudo has. He's not having trouble with money, he's having trouble with production. So it means that he's got so much more runway to play on, and this drop's gonna hit the 3rd again, just continuing to harass these workers down. But Vile's already having a hard time with his worker count. He goes ahead and restabilizes it, sure, but he's not finding any money to make stuff with. He's spending just as fast as he's getting it. And now with the drops, with the contain, like, this is looking really hard.
Yeah, Sudo is doing an amazing drop. He's actually dropping on the bottom left side as well here. And oh my god, Vile doesn't have any defenses here. Dude, Sudo is playing this like a Starcraft 2 player, just like loading units into drop ships and just dropping everywhere at once, dealing a ton of eco damage here.
I don't even know how to get rid of the minimap right now. They're just hiding behind it.
I don't know what the I don't remember what the hotkey was.
It's
Alt. Wait, minimap.
there we go.
Alt.
Okay, yeah. Alt I.
Oh my god, they actually killed a cannon that was building. This is incredible damage.
This is actually
This is
wild.
Incredible damage here. All right, let's return the minimap to view. And let's see what
Yeah, we
Terran
need that to see what's going on in the rest of the game.
Yeah. Oh my god, Terran is moving forward, but I feel like Protoss might just barely have enough units to clean this up here.
A lot of it comes down to the fact that, like, Sudo switched over to making vultures when Vile's not willing to make anything but dragoons for the most part. So once he cleans up a little bit of the tanks, like, these dragoons just... You can't do anything against a dragoon with a vulture unless you've got spider mines out.
Yeah, vultures by themselves are a bit of a...
They're good against
not a
zealots, and
very
that's it.
flexible tool. But, oh my god, this third base is totally exposed. And by extension, the fourth base is totally exposed too. So he can force this to lift off, and then immediately, once the Terran army shows up, he can sort of wheel downwards and attack into the fourth, but only if he knows it actually exists.
And
he
knows
should be retreating here from this attack because he doesn't have any zealots to support it. No, what am I saying?
The forward mines as well, like... Oh, almost get a connection.
Yeah.
But even then, yeah, I think that Vile is just kind of really feeling himself right now. Just says, I'm just going to go in, I'm just going to go ahead and, like, go click my guys on there, then look away in macro. I don't think he's even looking at this to micro until this very moment.
I would normally, like, this would normally be, like, a pretty good move to just trade away your units like that. But I'm a little bit worried for Vile because his probe count is so low. Like, he's actually working on fairly low eco, and I'm not...
Vile's
as well, but yeah,
Vile's ahead of Sudo after that exchange. The big problem is that Sudo has no gas. He has no workers on gas, aside from in his main where he's got 2. And, yeah, he's just having a really hard time making any units, but, like, he's got a huge mineral bank, just doesn't have any tech.
Yeah, but now Vile is doing the right moves here. He spotted that this base is trying to get taken and forcing it to lift off here. This is like the way you use units efficiently, right? Like Vile basically paid nothing to get this like command center to lift off. And with the Terran being on such low eco, right? Like he kind of has, the onus is kind of on him to try to eat back into this game here.
I feel like every time someone has a definitive advantage, though, or someone feels like they're ahead, just a couple of units get thrown away, a couple of drops go in, take out some workers, and it just swings back in the other direction. This is actually a crazy, crazy game.
Yeah, this game is the definition of, like, a complete mess. Like, no one has any idea what's going on. I feel like if I was in either player situation, I would have no idea if I'm winning, if I'm losing, if I'm ahead, if I'm behind. Like, I have no clue, dude. I think as Sudo, I would feel fairly confident that I was in the lead just because I have so much map control and I can kind of see that Vile doesn't have that many bases. But the reality of the situation is that Sudo is running very low on workers and Vile has mostly recovered.
Now, the question that I've got, though, is we have a huge number of workers here for Vile, but his money is staying low. I'm wondering if he's, like, oversaturated, hypersaturated somewhere, has a bunch of idle workers. I tried looking around to see it, but I'm not seeing anything right now. Big fight out here on the high ground again. This time, Sudo has the positional advantage.
Yeah, and Vile just does not have the zealot count to try to break this position. He only has goons, and goons attacking into the high ground.
Oh my, the mines!
Oh
that
God,
was a money mine right there.
Another money mine, maybe?
Oh.
Oh my God.
Worth the 25 minerals for sure, though. Oh, that's gonna be more money right here. Look at it go.
Oh, 25 minerals per mine, you get a free bike.
And just like that, Sudo's kind of back in it. Like, yeah, he's got half the worker count, but look at just how many idle probes there are everywhere and how much saturation there is here on the natural. Like, I think they have about the same number of working workers.
Yeah, despite being so far ahead, purely in terms of count, the fact that Vile is only working with 4 bases is really hurting him here.
These tanks might be out of position here. Needs to get them sieged up. Needs to get them targeting onto the Dragoons. Can we get a storm out of here? decent
Oh,
storm.
good storm.
Decent storm.
At the same time, I think the third base for Terran is under attack as well.
No, that's just the observers still constantly overlooking it.
I'm like watching for storm drops after I realized like that last one we missed.
I feel like Vile was offended at us not catching the storm drop.
He even typed in chat, missed. You missed my storm drop.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Vile, if I was playing, you would have gotten all of my workers because I would have never seen it.
All right, looks like Vile is now finally attempting to take the bottom left natural here.
Not even. He's got the worker there, but not going to set the Nexus. There he goes. All right.
Yeah, we needed that fifth base like 10 minutes ago.
I mean, at this point, Sudo's on more bases than Vile is.
That is fair, but the fourth base...
Not mining. Oh, it's actually just floating. It's floating away from the Zealot.
Yeah. Well, that's actually the fifth base. The fourth base is the one on the right-hand side, and is that one mining?
Yeah, but has a lot of idle.
Not barely.
A big push here from Vile onto these couple of tanks. He's going to take this position. Shouldn't have crazy losses either. But I mean, where do you go from here if you're Vile? You just take this position? Do you try and crush on the vultures here? Like, are you afraid of moving out of the map even with observers because of how many times you've gotten bit by mines?
I think the being bit by mines part is mostly because his observers are slow. Like, I think with observer speed, he should have been able to clear that with the Dragoons. But look, like Vile identifies which base is the vulnerable one because he has an observer there, and he's just going to try and kill it. Meanwhile, the Vulture is also identifying a weak spot, sneaking in through here. Oh my god, he just laid a mine next to the Dragoon, and it might kill all of them! Oh my god, okay, it didn't kill all of them, but that was pretty good. That was pretty good nonetheless.
Oh, he's going to push here into the third as well, so two bases.
Oh my god, this is devastating.
Yeah.
This is devastating for, and he
big storms
as well. Oh my god, this might be a devastating attack.
Gonna catch the workers in transit over here, though. Both of them are just
for it on the other side of the map. They're like Vile needs to get his units back to try and defend this, because if he loses this base, then both players will officially stop mining.
Okay, RiceHat, you know what this game is looking like right now? This is just two boxers that have never, like, done a day's worth of training. They've only lifted weights. So they're just in the middle of the ring, toe-to-toe, throwing haymaker after haymaker at each other. And there's no nuance, there's no technique. It is just blow after blow, crushing shot after crushing shot. And eventually, both of them are just going to fall, and the game's going to be over, and the ref's going to have to decide.
This is certainly a man-ass way to play the game. Absolutely, like, I 100% agree with you. I even like when you mentioned boxer, I was actually thinking you were talking about the player boxer, which also kind of fits. Like in this game, it's like, yeah, both players throwing macro completely to the side and just like attacking any place they feel like could be attacked.
And they right now, this is the part where they've both punched themselves drunk and don't have anything left in the tank. Like, there's literally 18 workers left for Sudo on the map right now. There's no units anywhere. Like, Vile is just trying to run things over to deal with these tanks, and he's gonna get it, but like, he's taken so much damage.
Yeah, but I think with the way that Sudo was playing there, like, this attack was meant to kill like basically all of Vile's economy by like just completely eliminating his bottom left side, but he unfortunately neglected his own defenses there, and now we're at a point where Terran has 0 mining bases, but Vile still has the bottom left base. Like, him cleaning up the rest of the tanks there might have been the winning move.
Yeah, I think it's still looking really rough. Like, the army for Sudo is still looking good. He's still got a decent bank, but it's not looking good enough, and the unit quality is super low. Like, he has to get some really clutch, really high-value spider mines. I don't know if it's going to land.
Not the best unit against Terran. If you don't know, all units deal maximum damage to Archons. But with the reinforcing goons here, this attack should once again be cleaned up, although fairly expensively. But honestly, like, if you know your opponent isn't mining anything at all, it doesn't matter how inefficient your trades are. Like, any trade is a good trade.
Exactly. You're still trading. It's like in chess, where if you're ahead on material, all you need to do is trade down, get to the end game. In this case, you're ahead on workers on Vile, so all you need to do is trade and get to the end game.
Yeah, and look, I think he's found the winning move as well. We might be seeing mate in 2 right now. Like, as soon as Vile comes up here and kills this base, there is nothing more. There are no more moves for the Terran. It's just checkmate.
Yeah, this is 20 workers at one base. There's nowhere else to mine. Desperately laying mines, trying to find anything, but this time the observers come in clutch. Vile takes out the mines, makes the move on the base, and we have the king cornered. I think it's going to be falling over in just a moment.
Yeah, forced to lift off. Running in the wrong direction, too. Like, this command center is not going to escape.
Sudo's trying with the vultures the other side of the map.
Empty! There's nothing here. Oh, no, wait, there's 2 cannons, but maybe the bottom side?
Even then, Vile has so many workers, he can long distance mine at, like, where the supply depot is. He's just so far ahead right now in supply, all he has to do is prevent Sudo from mining at all, because Sudo has 25 minerals and, like, 2 workers.
That's so funny that the depot is still there, though. Like, I can't believe no one's killed that.
Just hasn't had the need to go there. All right, so cleaning up the bottom left, and all that's left now is a huge number of tanks and vultures, and it's not even that many. I think that these dragoons and zealots can just mop it up.
Yeah, he seems a little bit too far forward there, and now forced to finally GG. Man, what a game. What a game.
Absolutely insane, RiceHat. This is what I was here for. This is why I wanted you to come along, because if I had to do this on my own, I think I would just... I'd have an aneurysm.
I'm glad you took me on this trip, because that was an insane game. This entire group has been absolutely a gem to watch. Oh my god. And we're only like halfway done too. I think we have 4 more games to go.
We've got basically 1 from ash.green and GoOn, and then otherwise we've got the entire Viletomato run. But I gotta ask too, because, like, you know, you've been around CPL for a while. Actually, how long have you been playing in CPL?
I've actually only been playing for 2 years. This would be my 3rd CPL.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm actually a little bit new too, compared to some of the old guard here.
I was just gonna ask though, like, is this what you expect out of preseason, or like, do the games just constantly get better, or is it just kind of a crapshoot overall?
I would say it's a mixed bag.
Okay.
It really depends on who's playing, right? Like, sometimes you get a group full of Borisus who try to, like, nuke and take secret bases, and other times you get a group with me who just tries to play standard. You know what I mean? Like, it's really is a mixed bag, just because of, like, the sheer variety in terms of people here. But okay, before we go into the next game, can we actually take a short break, because I've been needing to go to the bathroom?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll keep the chat entertained. They can see my ugly mug for a minute. You can get out of here.
All right, BRB.
Yeah. No, this is my first season with CPL, and this is me, like, I've cast Starcraft a very long time ago for an audience of 0. I had friends when we were doing Starcraft 2 when that first came out, and oh, what kind of amp is that? That's that's an Ampeg, I think. No, it's a big old Behringer 100 watt. I used to have an Ampeg and I sold that, but yeah, it's a 100 watt bass amp. I play bass, I play guitar. I'm also a death metal singer, but you know, we're not going to go into that on stream. That's for my private time. But yeah, like, when StarCraft 2 came out, oh, no, you don't gotta apologize. It's just more along the lines of, like, dude, I don't want to, the last thing I want to be is the guy who's like, hey, yo, let's talk about some StarCraft, and by the way, check out my SoundCloud. Do you want to hear my demos, dude? Do you know any producers? I want to tour in your city, man. Like, that's the last thing I want to do. Like, I like the music that I make, I like the stuff that I do, but it's also like I feel self-conscious, and not because like I'm self-conscious about my music, but it's like because everybody is used to musicians being like big losers, and everyone's used to like I'm gonna talk about my band, I'm gonna talk about my music, my project, and it's just like, dude, you know what you do? You smoke too much weed and like get drunk and make stuff no one listens to. Now, I do that sober, so it just kind of works out. Maybe I'm coming from a different perspective. Maybe I'm coming from a different perspective. I grew up in like a small town where it was just like the big thing to do was ride four-wheelers and drink. I was never into any of that, so it was just like, okay, me and a couple of friends go over to one guy's house and yeah, just play a bunch of music that nobody listened to, and then it was like, okay, yeah, if we wanted to get an audience, we have to like find all the people who are also in their basements and go over to like Europe or like South America and everything, and it's just like, yeah. But it was also tough too, because back in the day when I was doing music and everything, it was like had the hardest time finding a singer. So it was like we were into all kinds of like progressive stuff and like the old like Iron Maiden, new wave of British heavy metal and everything, and that stuff's really hard on vocalists. So you get into that and it's like, yeah, you're not gonna find that in a small town. But nowadays it's just me and one of my buddies who lives a couple states away, and we pass files back and forth to each other. And yeah, I was like, hey, we haven't talked to each other in a couple years. I was like, hey, do you want to do a project? And he was like, yeah. He wanted to get into engineering and mixing and stuff, and I was like, well, I've never done like any harsh vocals or recording before, but I kind of want to prove that like I can. So we laid down a couple of tracks, a couple of covers, and it was like, oh, holy shit, these are actually kind of decent. But it's still the kind of thing where like it's death metal, so you talk to people and you're like, yeah, you know, I did a recording, and they're like, oh, do you want me to listen to it? And I'm like, you probably wouldn't like it.
And I'm back. We're talking about death metal?
They got to asking about, yeah, I have an amp behind me on camera, and I was like, yeah, you know, I play a lot of music and do this, and I'm also a death metal singer.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like, it's
death
not...
metal? I can see it. I can see it.
It's not professional or anything. Like, it's just, you know, you doing random recordings with a guy I went to school with, but, like, it's a long time ago.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool. Death metal, man. You know, okay, I kind of want to show you some artists, because I've recently, so I'm not into death metal.
Yeah.
Basically, like I've always sort of thought like that music wasn't for me. But recently I started listening to this Japanese artist called Ado, and she like released kind of recently, like not a death metal cover, but like some kind of like metal-ish like adjacent song where she goes screamo in some of the parts, and it was like, oh my god, this is so hype. Like, I love this song. I gotta show you later.
We'll talk about it later, I guess. Like we might go into this in another intermission, but like one of the things I really appreciate about music nowadays is things are kind of transcending genres so much that it's hard to be like, yeah, you know, I'm a rock group, I play funk, I do R&B. Like, no, it's just kind of people make music, and it's really hard to find stuff that you like because genre is so wishy-washy now. But it also means there's elements from everywhere. But speaking of elements from everywhere, we've still got more Vermeer. We've still got some influences that people have been taking. And this is going to be ash.green versus GoOn coming up, who I've been waiting for this match the entire time.
I'm excited for this.
Oh, yeah.
I am excited for this for sure. Like, just judging from the way GoOn played, right? Like, he showed some really good games, and he also showed some games that seemed like, oh, like maybe it could have been a little bit better. Like, so I feel like GoOn has kind of an interesting variety of play. Like, I feel like some games he could pop off, and other games he's just like, the build just isn't working.
I think honestly that GoOn is like, from what I've seen, GoOn seems like an inconsistent player. And so it's kind of which GoOn are you going to get for that day? And against ash.green, who seemed, in the one game that I'd seen from them so far, to be very much about the path of least resistance, about the path of just like, I'm going to find the simplest solution and I'm going to ram it down like a hammer. Like, is that kind of simple play, if that's what ash.green does here, is that going to make an inconsistent player even more inconsistent?
That is fair, actually. I think if you know your opponent is the kind of player who, like, if they're like locked in, they're like locked in. Like, they know they hit all their timings perfectly. They expand everywhere. They like build a million units, right?
Right.
But if they get a little bit messed up, then everything falls apart. Then you kind of have a strategy forming in your brain, right? Like, all you really have to do is kind of mess them up, and then everything will kind of fall into place.
And one of the things that, like, I like to do when people will let me, and I know it's kind of, like, scummy in preseason and anything, but it's just, like, if we're playing, like, back-to-back, I like to say, hey, you know, can I watch? I'm kind of bored. And usually I try and do it, like, after I've played both the players that are there, but sometimes I get to see them play before I get there, and then it's like, oh, I have an idea of what you're doing, or, oh, I've watched you play last week, so, like, I may not know, strictly speaking, that you're good, bad, or in between, but like I get my own theories and I get to test my theory against how you play.
Yeah, that's always a really fun part about CPL, and just like playing in tournament settings as opposed to just like a ladder session, is you can really like play a lot of mind games and do a lot of research, and there's like this entire angle of like who you're playing against and how do you tailor your style to their style that like is like it just adds an entire other like layer of I don't know, good fun to the game.
It's the wine in front of me, you know? Well, I know that you like to go hatch first like ash.green does, so that means I'm going to change the way that I play. But you know that you like to go hatch first.
Like never ending, right? Like, I know that you know, but you know that I know. So like, at what point, when does it stop, right? Like at some point you just took a little too hard.
And then it's like, yeah, by the way, I'm 4-pulling you, get fucked.
Dude, have you watched that one ASL? I don't even remember who the players were, and I think it was like a couple ASLs ago where one of the players tried to do like an insane like 5 billion IQ proxy where they proxy 2 gateways inside the other person's base, but they tried to hide the probe, and the way that they tried to hide the probe is they like scouted in from a weird angle and they only looked to see the top mineral and
yes!
if it was being mined. You remember that game?
I think it was Shuttle. And like that was a so it's a trick. They had like an actual Jin reaction video to this. I'm sorry, I'm gonna nerd out over this because I loved this. But you scout and you look at the top mineral just to see if it has been mined. And if it has, then you use that as the, like, it's the 2/3 proxy. So you put, but yeah, in this case, he scouted it, but that was the one mineral patch that the opponent hadn't mined.
Yes. It was against Rush, but I don't remember who the Protoss player was.
I think it was Shuttle.
You think it was Shuttle? I don't think it was Shuttle, but I don't know. It might have been Shuttle. It was like one of the the lower like tier players who was trying to do something tricky to win against like a considerably stronger opponent.
Yes.
But yeah, he spotted that the mineral wasn't being mined. So he proxied in the wrong base. And I remember in the interview afterwards, they asked Rush, why did you not mine the top mineral? Did you know that was coming? And Rush was just like, I didn't mine it because, I don't know, I didn't feel like it.
It was motive. That's who it was.
Oh,
it was Rush versus motive. God.
I also love the part where after the game, you can tell Rush was going through the replay.
Yeah.
He was so focused, he looked really confused, and then he laughed like 30 seconds later. He was 100% going through the replay.
All right, so we can wax poetic about that one because that is probably my favorite game of all time, but I do want to have a chance at making new favorites, and in this case, we've got ash.green doing basically the same thing that he did against the Terran, going for fast Hydras, not going for the Spire, but this time sticking on Hatchery, so we are probably going to see an attempt at a Hydra bust, but it's going to be on 3-hatch Hydra, and it's not going to be a 973. Has too many probes for that, or too many drones.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting that Ash goes for the Hydra play instead of what we would normally see. Kind of is really strong in the meta right now is to go for a fast Spire and get like 5 units. But I think it sort of makes sense at this level because it's once again it's choosing to play like the style that is actually like easier to play rather than what the pros are all doing, which I think, you know what, if you're at this level, that's a totally, you know, smart thing.
I think that that's actually brilliant because simplicity and a consistent game plan is what's going to let you win until you get to the point where you have someone who can prove that they can beat that simple and consistent game plan.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I can easily see ash.green like getting a lot of work done with his Hydras and like even without any Scourge, right? Like sometimes the Protoss player at this MMR isn't good enough to just like run the Corsair away fast enough. And look, he might even lose it.
Not paying attention. Oh my god, 21 health, 3 more shots. If those Hydras had gotten 1 more volley, that would have been enough to kill that Corsair.
Yeah, I mean, GoOn like pulled that away at precisely the right time, but you know, it goes to show, right? Like, you know, even with a simpler playstyle, you can still like get just as much done as like the more, you know, advanced playstyle, just simply because your opponent doesn't know how to deal with it.
Now, here's the big thing about this. The Corsair play from a Protoss isn't just to go after the Overlords. The reason you go Corsair as Protoss is because it's the only way of getting consistent scouting. And the big thing that you're looking for is my opponent going for Lair? Are they going for Mutalisks? So not seeing that, and having had the chance to get in there and play around with it a little bit, immediately GoOn throws down this Templar Archives. So he's going to be making a mad dash for High Templar and Storm, and if he can get that before the Hydra count gets too high, then the game looks really good for him. And if not, the game looks really good for Ash. So the next like 2 minutes or so are going to be instrumental in how this game looks.
Yeah, but I definitely agree with you there. A lot of this is dependent on how fast the storms come out, because that is really the only way you counter like a mass Hydra playstyle is with splash damage here. So this will definitely be a big deciding factor in the next couple of minutes. But also worth noting, he did lose the Corsair, right? Like I think he got a little bit overeager trying to kill the Overlords, and truthfully that is how you're technically supposed to counter not getting any Scourge, is you go around the map and you hunt for Overlords, and if the Hydras attack you, you simply run away. But you actually have to be good enough to
control it. Yeah, right.
Like, yeah. So Ash kind of going doing this build completely unpunished here. But it doesn't seem like he's really going for like a mass Hydra attack. I think he's even going to go take a fort and go into Lurker.
Yeah, he already has Lurker tech, has the Lurkers down. But one thing is, if you get a bullseye with a Storm, Storm can still take out a Lurker, I think in 1 Storm, or maybe 1 Storm and 1 shot.
It's 1 Storm in a little bit.
Yeah.
I think, Lurkers have 125?
Yeah, and Storm does like 120?
Yeah, some dumb thing like that. Like, it's just barely not enough to kill a Lurker.
But basically, though, like, Storms still beat the crap out of Lurkers. They don't beat it quite as bad as they do Hydras, but it's hard to get the Lurkers to dodge Storms, and you can see that GoOn's also going for Dragoon range, so he's just going to be going for High Templar, Dragoon, Zealot, and we have a classic case of Gateway Man.
Yeah. The only true counter to Storm if you're going for Lurker is to do what ash.green is doing right now and spreading the Lurkers out so that only one of them can be stormed at a time. But here, I feel like Ash has actually spread them out a little bit too much. If you spread your Lurkers out too much, then they can be like singled out and targeted by like just like a group of goons.
Yeah, and Dragoons are so good against lurkers.
Yeah, goons are definitely very good against them. So it's a little bit of a like a
will they, won't they kind of thing.
Sorry?
It's like a will they, won't they almost.
Not quite. What I was trying to get at is like you need to get it just right. Like, you know, like there's like a specific point where the lurkers are just close enough together that they can cover each other, but they're not so close together that more than one can be hit by a storm at a time.
It's a matter of finesse. You gotta have the right touch.
Yes, yeah. That's it. That's it. Finesse. That's the word I was looking for.
All right. Big group of Hydras out here, ripe for the storm, and if they're found.
Oh, if he catches that with one storm, like...
Yeah, that's not going to be like one storm to kill it all, but it's one storm to kill most. And he's really hunting for it too, but oh no, I'm losing control of the Templar.
Yeah, that's a huge...
Those are huge storms.
That is a huge storm.
Huge storms.
That's basically like, what, 11 Hydras for pretty much nothing. But
oh my god!
Another storm!
This is absolutely disgusting, and this is like the thing that I struggle with the most when I'm playing ZVP, is once they start getting these good storms and like you really need to control and position everything, it feels impossible.
It's hard. It's definitely hard. And the most unfortunate part of that is that he like sent in a group of Hydras to try to snipe Templar and he didn't even kill it. Like that Templar survived with like 20 HP.
All right, big push here on the Hydras into the natural. There's no Templar here. It's just going to be a counterattack, and I think this is probably the best thing that you can do if you're Ash. He's going to make it inside, too.
Yeah, there's not quite enough Protoss here to defend this natural, but I don't know, he's actually doing a really good job of blocking so far, and I mean, he might have delayed this just enough with the probes.
Yeah, the delay there is really good, and we also have the main attack on the other side of the world. These Hydras locking the Dragoons in range of the Lurker, though, and overall not going to be enough to stop the Protoss, but at least slow them down some.
Yeah, this has actually been a really good turn of events for Protoss. The Zerg attack on the natural has been completely destroyed.
The Observer's out of position.
Wait, where's the Observer?
The Observer's down south. He doesn't see it.
Oh my god, a bit of a mistake there from GoOn. I think he really had an opportunity there to do a lot of damage, but now he's forced to retreat with his much smaller group of units.
He's got the Observer width, so he's not going to have anything there to spot, like, behind. So if he does want to move back in, like, gonna have to reposition the Observer. That's actually a really hard thing for Protoss to do, is figure out, like, where the Observer is, not box select it, not move it in the wrong position, like...
Yeah. Sometimes you just lose track, right?
Yeah, it's a tiny unit. It's kind of like a ghost almost for Terran. Like, you never make Ghost in the first place in the SC or Borisu. But
that's so funny. You're right. It's like cloaked for your opponent, but sometimes it's cloaked for you too. Like
yeah, it's so small and so it's in the middle of everything.
Oh my god! But no storm available with this army means it's trading very inefficiently against the Zerg. Finally, the High Templar comes in. Oh my god! It deals a lot. That was a juicy storm on all the lings, but unfortunately, it might not be enough here. This Protoss is forced to retreat once again.
Yeah, GoOn's been having a really hard time keeping up with his macro and controlling his High Templar. Also having a hard time in terms of just, like, balancing his unit production. One of the things that I notice really commonly happens when you start in, like, the scramble state, I like to call it, is you're just, okay, I won a fight or I lost a fight. I need to reproduce units, and so you just start hitting buttons and not thinking about what it is you made or what it is you need.
Yeah, I've definitely been in that scramble state before as well. It's especially kind of annoying when like I'm like scrambling to make units and then I'm like, oh yeah, I need to make another base, and then I don't have enough money for it because I already spent it all. But yeah, it's kind of a difficult state for players to sort of deal with. But I don't know. I think both players at this point have mostly recovered. Protoss, I would say, is a little bit behind because they still haven't gotten their third base up.
Look at how many lurkers are here for green.
Yeah,
and this is insane.
7 just popped out as well. Like he's safe. Like that base, like nobody's gonna. Oh my god, he has even more lurkers.
Yeah, the entire map. This is lurkers where spider mines would be for Terran.
Oh my god, but just like the French did, or just like the Germans did in 1940, he just went around the defense, and we see that this base is just gonna get canceled again.
That is the last comparison I expected to hear, man. RiceHat.
Am I allowed to say that?
You are allowed, but that's just, I was not expecting to hear that. You're allowed to say that. Am I allowed to hear that?
Oh my gosh. But oh my, look, 12 Lings are just gonna cancel this Nexus again. Both players are actually making very good moves, but I think the Protoss is slowly falling behind here. Like, his third got denied so many times, but I'm not convinced the Zerg can get his fourth denied this time around.
Well, Zerg's already on fourth, on 4 bases right now, and, well, working on the 4th. With all of these lurkers, there's so much zone control. Even if you storm, even if you use dragoons, it's just like, it takes so long to make it through the lurker minefields. He's just gonna try and bust straight on through, I think. No, he's got.
Oh my god, there's no support for these lurkers though. Like, this is a really strong position to have as Zerg, but only if you have Hydras and Lings there to support the lurkers. Like, without those units, you can actually just bust through the way Protoss did here. But it might have been a trap. Like, Zerg is attempting to flank with more lurkers, but he might barely not have enough units to kill this.
He doesn't have enough mainline units, like you said. He didn't have the Lings at the right time in the right spot, didn't have the Hydras there. Like, you really do have to have a little bit of everything to deal with the Protoss army. He's finally gonna break it, but there's more reinforcements coming in. These Zealots are gonna do a number on the Hydras, and will we get the chance to have a storm?
We did see one storm go down against, like, and hit 2 lurkers at once. This is a good catch from
GoOn calls GG.
Wait.
Oh
Okay.
my god, he had the Lings over here that were breaking through.
Oh, yeah. That could do it, yeah.
Wow.
I was a little bit surprised, but I did not notice that Zerg was denying his third, like, for the 10th time. I think as Protoss, I would have called it there as well, especially since I'm not mining on either of my my main or natural.
Yeah, this is just... I feel like GoOn still had some game in him, but how much? And again, you know, we talked about the mental game, we talked about the like how demoralized you feel and everything, and when you feel like you are literally going through a spider minefield of lurkers, your morale's got to be pretty low.
Yeah. To be fair to GoOn, though, I think at that stage of the game without the third base, it would have certainly been like a crazy uphill battle. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much money he had left, but if he didn't have enough for a Nexus, I think it's over. If he did have enough for a Nexus, maybe Zerg doesn't do a big counterattack.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the only thing you can truly hope for in that situation. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times though, it does seem hopeless when it really isn't. In that particular case, I think GoOn had some play left in him if he didn't try to do another attack. Like, if all he did was just stay back, take the third, and start building up again, but only taking like fights that he knows he can take, he could have probably clawed his way back. But yeah, after like getting that base denied again, it would have been like
just really hard to handle. All right, we've only got a couple games left. We're going to be going with a Viletomato series here, but of note in particular is Vile is the only player remaining who has a chance to go undefeated.
oh, that's true. Yeah. Like, yeah, all the players have kind of, I'm looking at the screen, like, I'm trying to figure out if there was anyone that didn't actually, like, lose yet. Ash.Green. Oh, yeah, Ash.Green lost to Sudo. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
Sudo lost to
GoOn. And GoOn's lost to Ash. So the only person who has the ability now to go undefeated is Vile. So I think we're going to have a really even group unless Vile manages to just go on a tear.
We'll see. I mean, dude, if Vile loses to Borisu, like, Like, I can't wait to see the nuke that kills Vile.
That's what I'm thinking right now. Like, I feel like if any meme is, if any game is going to be a meme, it's this one. So let's see it. Let's see the meme happen.
I'm excited. Let's get into it.
All right. Hey, for once we have cross spawns. This is incredible.
Yeah, they're not all on the left-hand side either. Like, what is this? Or sorry, the right-hand side. Yeah.
No, this is so Viletomato in the top left and Borisu in the bottom right. I feel like Borisu in particular has also always been on the bottom right.
Wait, is that true? I'm like, chat confirm?
I think so. I
think
think Borisu has always been blue and in the bottom right.
Interesting.
I have a memory for this stuff. I don't know why.
Interesting. I wonder what kind of hacks Borisu did for this.
And I mean, if you really want to get into the micro optimization, you know, the mineral boosting, all of that stuff, technically, it's better for Terran to be mining on the right side.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know about you. I don't see him boosting.
No.
I saw that SCV. Look at that SCV. He's not going the short way.
Nope. They're running around all over the place. It's absolute bedlam in the mineral line.
Borisu going for the depot to the left of the command center. This is a SimCity that I don't see pros ever do, but for some reason I do it all the time because I'm like, oh, if I just like build the barracks on the left, then that makes sense. But I don't see pros do it, so I assume that it's bad.
For like a micro optimization thing, aren't you? I think it's if you're mining on the left side that you're supposed to it's if you're mining on the right side, you're supposed to put your building like on the bottom left so that it forces the spawn closer to the minerals.
Oh, yes. I actually think that's the correct SimCity to have in Vermeer. Other maps, I generally don't like doing that if I spawn on the bottom right because you want the SimCity to be close to your factory, and I like having my factory kind of far outwards, like kind of like towards the top. But in Vermeer's base is actually so small that you probably could just like put your SimCity like on the bottom right. Wait,
all right, so this is nasty. Vile has the gas steal. He also is definitely map hacking because he first location spawned scouted cross spawn.
Map hacker. You sometimes see Protoss go for the cross spawn scout, but generally only if they go Nexus.
Right.
If you go Nexus first, then Terran has different responses to you based on where they are in the map, right? So if you're close spawn and Terran sees that you're going Nexus first, Terran will bust you like almost 100% of the time. Like pull 8 or so SCVs and try to kill your Nexus.
Right, just go bunker and like 3 Marines.
Yeah, pretty much. But if you're cross spawn, you can't actually do that because the 5 seconds extra it takes to get across the map is enough for Protoss to get like enough units basically to defend it.
Yes. It's the timing is so tight, is so precise that cross spawn makes enough of a difference. Like I hear Artosis complaining about that all the time.
But the interesting thing about this game though is that Vile didn't go for Nexus first. So I'm not actually even sure why he did a cross scout like that. But maybe it's just because he's Protoss and he's like, wouldn't it be funny if I was cross spawn? And then he just like sent his probe over and he's like, no gas, I'ma steal it.
Now the thing about this that's actually kind of insane though is
wait, hold on. Do you see that?
He's going 3. He's okay because he didn't get the gas until late. He's just gonna mass up racks and go for Marines. And I don't think that Pomato saw that. No, Pomato has no idea.
I have no idea.
This is never gonna work. This is never gonna work.
There's no way this works. Eh? I don't know. Borisu might just be smarter than all of us. I don't like this could like.
There's an academy too. We're gonna see a Marine medic push. Like this could actually be so giga-brained, it's insane. Especially if we don't see like, okay, we have 2 gates right now. If we get the Robo though, and we get like Observatory first, this could be pretty lethal.
Yeah, I'm kind of holding my breath here. I'm like, dude,
but I mean, if you don't get like a good timing bust, I don't think there's any game to be played after this, really. Like,
yeah, this dude, Borisu literally doesn't even have a factory.
This feels so
Terran
all
will
in.
Fizzle out so fast if this doesn't do damage.
Yeah, this feels so all in.
This is the most all in. Like, this is more all in than 2-Fact. And 2-Fact doesn't even have a second base at any point. Like, man, like, I wonder what's going to happen. Like, I don't know. The other thing to note is that Vile is, he's new to Protoss, presumably, right? Like,
what?
What are we?
Oh, I thought that was going to actually block. He wanted to keep the Dragoon out.
I think he was scouting for Robo. Because the one thing that definitively kills Marines and medics
is Reaver. Yeah. No,
what is he gonna do once the goons like bust the bunker? Like, I feel like it's kind of a matter of time if you have no vultures and no tanks. Like, it's only a matter of time before the goons just like straight up kill it. Like, Val is rallying more and more across the map. There's only so many SCVs you can repair this with.
So I think that if he just gets enough Marines, like, Marines aren't horrible against Dragoons if you get them pound for pound, but the problem is that you need to have, like, stim, range, medics, and you have to have enough production. So right now, there's not enough production to make the Marines worth it, and the barracks are sitting idle. There's more barracks behind it. He's literally going 5 racks.
Dude, that bunker is gonna go. That bunker's gonna die soon. Oh, okay, no. He's saying
there's plenty of repairing still. He's still working on it.
I'd be so confused with Vile.
He over-repaired. He over-repaired.
Where is the tank? Like, what? What do you do as Vile in this position? If like Terran just, oh wait, hold on. Do you see that? The bunker started firing.
Because he's got the range upgrade. The range upgrade popped.
Yes. So Vile should have a fairly good idea of what's happening right now. It's like, why are you getting Marine rain? Like, in what universe does Terran get Marine range, if not the universe in which he goes for a bio attack?
Yeah, like, why do you have Academy at 7 minutes?
Yeah. If I were Vile, I'd be spamming out, you know, gateway units and rushing for some kind of splash damage.
He's got the Templar Archives coming up right now, so he's going to be looking for Storm, but it's going to take a while. Storm is way slower than Reaver Tech.
What does he do? Okay, secret base. I guess he's taking, he's decided to, if you can't beat him, join him.
Well, that's just setting up a pylon down there so he maintains vision.
Oh, yeah, that could be it too. That could be it too.
Yeah, that's a pylon at the bottom. Has a third over on the left side.
Surprise, bio.
This is so insane. And I mean, the force he has right now is going to be fantastic against what's on the other side of the map. Like, Marines pound for pound do okay against Dragoons. Like 3 Marines to 1 Dragoon. But once you get anything else out there, some Zealots, some Templar with Storm, a Reaver. Storm's not started. Oh no.
Yeah, Storm is not going to be nearly complete by the time this attack hits. The only thing Vile can really realistically do in this situation is basically sacrifice the natural, go up into your main, and try to fight from the high ground.
There's not enough Marines on the front line, actually. Like, he has enough Marines to take this, but they were not grouped well enough together as they were moving.
Oh, that's true. And there is actually a cannon finished.
That's just going to go down so quick. Yeah, that's just going to die so quick. But even then,
died pretty fast. But it might have bought enough time and for the Dragoons to like get out a good amount of DPS, but there's just barely enough medics to constantly heal the Marines so that.
And the Dragoons aren't focus firing either is the big thing, so the medics are just having disparate healing across everything.
Man,
no, this is a ton of damage. And there's bunkers coming up here too. Yeah, this natural is toasted.
Yeah, the only thing Vile can do is sacrifice this base and defend his main. The minute you get like some kind of splash damage, the minute you get like a Reaver or something, this game is purely over.
Right.
But I think Vile might be too sort of focused on trying to reclaim this natural. You can't reclaim this natural.
They actually unloaded to Stim and went back into the bunker. Dude, that is some like mystic ninja tech.
Pro gamer plays here. And Vile, unfortunately, he's taking the bait here. Like he actually can't afford to lose these goons.
This is insane. But he still has the third base, but yeah, this is just a conga line of Marines across the map. And at this point, Borisu is recognizing they are completely all in. Just have to get more Marines, have to get up there. And what are we gonna get here from Vile? He still doesn't have Storm. He still doesn't have Reaver tech. He's just making Dragoons trying to focus on this.
Honestly, like, if he just continues to make Dragoons, like, Terran realistically can't push up. Terran needs to, at some point, eventually tech up. But, like, I mean, if I were Vile and I still don't see any siege tanks, I'm fairly confident that he can't actually push up here. The only thing that's really vulnerable about, like, Vile's situation is what if Terran decides to, you know, attack the third base. Right. You can kind of remedy that by just building a bunch of cannons there because Marines are very bad against cannons. But look, we're trying to break this. This is going to be like a pretty inefficient trade for Vile, and it might not even work because I don't know if there's enough Dragoons to attack through here.
The big problem is the surface area. Just trying to get the Dragoons down the ramp to the point where they can have more of them attacking than like the two on the cliff. But overall, this is still going to be like he's not going to break out, but gets a lot of trading. This is, again, a lot like Mutalisks trying to cut down on the numbers of Marines. The bunkers are there, obviously going to be a fixed number of Marines, but these Dragoons are just trying to trade into the Marines to kill off as many as possible to make it be so you don't get that critical mass ball.
Yeah, I see what you mean here, and it does look like it's gonna work. We're down to only one bunker left, and I think Borisu, in his attempt to transition out of this, might have given Vile the opportunity to come back.
Well, we've got 3 factories coming down with a machine shop, but there's still a solid, what is that, 6 barracks producing? But yeah, at this point, because of the fact you have the +1 upgrade on the Dragoons, you have the Zealots coming out here, and you have the High Templar, which I believe have Storm. This is going to be a lot harder for the Terran to do with just Bio, obviously. And I think now he's going to be aware, oh, he's got to have a third base. So it spots this, but yeah, Borisu is not going to be able to do anything about it because you spent your time trying to contain on the natural instead.
Do you see what Borisu is doing on the bottom left?
Oh my god, not again. Not again.
If I was playing against Borisu, I would literally constantly scout bottom left. For some reason, he always has a base there.
Well, I'm going to always scout bottom right because that's always where he spawns.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah, 2-player map where there's not a base in bottom right anyways. That's where I'm scouting.
Oh my god. For a second, I thought those 2 Marines are going to kill that Dragoon, but not quite.
The one attack upgrade actually makes a big deal for the Dragoon. I don't know the exact math on it, but I'm pretty sure that even with 1 armor, it still ends up causing the Dragoon to 2-shot.
I'm not certain. I don't know. Bio versus Protoss is so rare. I have no idea what the interaction is with anything and anyone. Like
it's 4-shot. I'm sorry, 4-shot.
Yeah, 4 shots.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at that like Vile like trying to come down and attack that. I'm like, I have no idea who wins that.
Oh my god, we have Dark Templar.
Yeah, and the Dark Templar spots one of the bases that is kind of completely naked.
He got 3 SCVs there as well. We're gonna get a scan. He doesn't make it away now. That DT dies.
That's too bad.
There's just a stray missile turret from Borisu over here. Oh.
To be fair, I kind of do that too sometimes. Oh, Vile.
He doesn't see it. He doesn't see it.
Wait, what?
It's just outside of the vision range.
This is so stupid. I can't even believe this.
Dude.
How is Vile gonna like have that unit there for like the rest of the game? Not know. Oh my god, he leaves with the Zealot.
Have you watched the current ASL?
No, not the current one. I'm not caught up.
Okay. There's a particular incident this reminds me of, and I'm not going to give you any details beyond that.
Where someone like made a hidden base and the other person just barely doesn't see it. But
yes. Well, they did see it, but they weren't aware that they saw it.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, over in chat, they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's like they saw it, but did they see it?
Right. But yeah, that was a heartbreaker, and this is a similar heartbreaker. Literally 1 square off.
I can't believe he's gonna get away with it.
I can't believe this game's still going. Like they're dead. Go ahead.
I can't believe Borisu just successfully transitioned out of bio.
Out of 6 racks bio.
6 rack, no factory bio.
Yes, that is an absolutely insane build for Terran. Like, I don't mean insane as in good, I mean as in absolutely demented.
Yeah, we're talking mental asylum insane, not really crazy, sick play insane, which in a way, it kind of also is.
Like, this is put him in Arkham Asylum insane. But Pomato right now, I think he's just confused. Like, doesn't know what the opponent, doesn't know what Borisu is doing, doesn't have any idea like what he's supposed to do. This game is off script.
The Zealot comes back. I think he's gonna see it this time.
Does he? Yup. Okay, yeah, there he goes. Dude, it's so just confusing. Like, where is anything? What is going on? When you have a game that is this far from standard, all of your ideas and assumptions are out the window at that point. So it's just like, I feel like that's where you really start to make mistakes. And this is where Borisu shines, is the chaos.
Yeah, Lyle's gonna come in here and try to pummel this base, but yeah, with how chaotic this game has been, he doesn't even have Zealot speed. Like he's still marching around with slow Zealots 17 minutes into the game. And he also tried to storm that bunker.
He almost stormed his own Templar.
Yeah.
Like
that was kind of hilarious. But he's actually doing, this is actually a really good play from him, and Boris isn't really responding to it is the issue.
Yeah, really slow with the tank move out. And the other thing, too, is there's the one Zealot in the bottom left that is laying waste to the workers there because there's nothing there to defend it.
Oh my god, he moves up, but nope.
Oh, those storms.
Storm is just so good against Marines.
And this is why you don't go bio against Protoss. That and because of Zealots and because of upgraded Dragoons and because of armor. And there's a lot of reasons, okay? But this is why.
This is the main reason. There's a lot of reasons, and this is the main one.
Dude, it's not even a Zealot, it's a probe over here.
I thought there was a Zealot there this entire time killing probes, or killing SCVs, but no, it's a probe there.
It's a probe just harassing the command center. Okay, this game is off the rails.
I want to see the probe kill it.
Dude,
this game better go on for like 10 more minutes, and nobody ever pays attention to bottom left.
I'm just saying, like, a lot of people like to whine and complain about people having their mouse cursor on the screen or, like, selecting stuff and spam selecting. So I'm just gonna leave that selected the entire game until we see where the health goes.
Fair play. Fair play. It's still going down. But Vile might come in with these units and end it first, which It would have been funnier if the probe killed it, but realistically, that wasn't going to happen.
And Borisu on the other side of the map as well, not even budging, like just kind of turtled up, has a base over here, and Bio drop.
Oh, God.
Gonna make it up to the top right and find this base. I think he scanned it.
Dropping Marines and medics like StarCraft 2 style.
Dude, Borisu's just in the wrong game. That's really what I'm seeing.
That's,
like, Borisu's playing StarCraft 3 at this point.
He's playing StarCraft 3. Oh my God. This is gonna work too. Like,
yeah, it gets the Nexus.
Nexus gone. I've never seen a Vulture drop kill a Nexus. I'll tell you that.
That wasn't the Vulture drop, so yeah. Dude, there is something about Borisu's play where, oh, you know how they had like all of those really creative players like in the early 2000s that weren't like super good, but just had these like crazy builds and were super innovative and everything?
Yeah, and those were the ones that made it to like the Pimpus plays.
Yeah, oh, I forgot about Pimpus plays. But this is like what I'm seeing from Borisu is just like, okay, the fundamentals need work, the mechanics need work, your APM's under 100 half the time, which I'm guilty of too, but you've got these ideas and you're thinking outside the box, and you're confusing your opponent more than you're confusing yourself, and as much as you're confusing me.
Yeah, Borisu definitely has it in the creative department. I would even say he's playing like the wrong race for it, because Terran usually gets I think Terran is probably the worst race to try and do like weird, cheesy, confusing, chaotic plays with, because like Terran like is all about setting up engagements. It's all about setting up timings, all about this kind of stuff.
Right.
So honestly, the fact that he's being this creative and doing so many things outside of the box and honestly like making it work as well as he did, that is actually quite impressive that he can do this.
So while we're in a bit of a lull, what race do you think is the right one if you want to be like really out of the box? Is it Protoss?
It is 100,000% Protoss.
All right.
It is 100,000,000% Pro. Think about your favorite cheesy player and why it's Mini.
I was gonna say Sulky. One of my favorite games ever is the game on Death Valley where Sulky 4-pooled. I think it was against Snow. And
I think I know what you're talking about.
He trapped him in by destroying the trapped him out of the low ground by destroying the assimilators there.
Yeah. Okay, I actually remember that game. Yeah, you know what? Fair point. I'll concede.
Huge drop here, though. Now, Vile has taken the top right base again. Just finished the Nexus, has a bunch more defenses there. There's units over here this time. The drop defense is pretty solid, but there is a gap where there's no cannons, and that's where the unload's going to occur. We've seen Borisu try this Doom drop before, and the answer was just a counterattack. And this time, Viletomato is making the same decision. He's copying someone else's homework and counterattacking.
Unfortunately, Vile is not counterattacking in the right place. There are so many tanks at the natural, which is kind of completely useless because it's mined out. What he actually needs to attack is the third base. He might lose basically every single one of his units there, but he wisely decides to pull back. The third base is completely naked here.
And it's the only mining base for Borisu as well, by the way. The main and the natural are completely mined out. So Borisu is on one mining base. Meanwhile, Pomato is on like 1 million. I see 3-4 mining bases right now for Pomato.
He is going to finally clean this up. I was hoping with the dropships coming back that Borisu literally just picks up and runs off.
I love how there's a half-constructed bunker here.
Dude, this is such an inefficient trade for Vile. He's losing so many units just from like the weird SimCity he put himself in here.
Yeah. And not only that, too, like, he lost so many Dragoons going into the tanks at the natural. He's losing so many here. This is the most efficient trading I have seen from Borisu in any of the games I've seen from them.
Oh my god. Okay, he finally cleans that up. For a second, I thought that tank was going to kill those goons, which would have been insane if that was the case. But yeah, that was some incredibly efficient trading from Borisu.
There's a fire bat in the bunker?
I have no words.
This is absolute cinema. I hate that meme. I feel like it's a meme, but there is no words for this other than cinema.
Yeah, this is peak. We did it. We're continuing to doom drop with 6 dropships as if it was TNT. I mean, now that I think about it, what other way does like, okay, so it's a frequently cited thing in that if Protoss gets both corners, the game's over for Terra.
Yes.
It's very hard to come back from that point. And the main reason is because you can't break like the high ground, like in any way that's like basically ever, like once Protoss has the gateways there.
It is so inefficient. You have to basically starve them out and have the rest of the map and then kill them.
Yeah, but Borisu, I think he's sort of found a workaround here, like with these drops.
The problem is, though, if you look at the supply, if you look at the fact that Borisu has no mining bases, this is the only thing that Borisu has this game. So once Pomato crushes this, got rid of the third base, there is nothing left mining for Borisu. There's no way into the game. This is just GG.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He calls it.
Okay.
What?
I don't know what that was alluding to, but Borisu.
Okay, Borisu.
You have made a fan.
Yeah. Okay. I've run out of words to say, man. Like I don't even know what I don't even know how to do this commentary anymore.
I feel like to bring it out into an analogy and everything, I feel like rooting for Borisu, being a Borisu fan, is like being a Cleveland Browns fan in football, where you know you're not gonna win, but maybe you'll get a fun game. And if nothing else, the beer at the game is probably half decent and overpriced. Although I don't know how that relates here.
Just felt the need to put that out there.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Go Browns! All right, we got someone out there in chat that knows the pain.
GoOn WD. Hey, look at that. We're going to cast your game up right now.
Yeah, speaking of which, Vile and GoOn?
Yeah.
It's been, oh dude, you're from Illyria. I'm initially from Youngstown. I live in Pittsburgh now.
Oh, hey, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I know a friend from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we're a hive of scum and villainy, that's for sure. Now, forgive us too. We've been going at this for a little bit over 3 hours at this point. The delirium's starting to kick in. This has been a lot of StarCraft. But honestly, I think it's kind of worth it, and I'm really glad to have RiceHat with me because, like, dude, you are some of the best company I could ask for in this.
Oh my god, your praise is truly too high. I am so happy to be here. Like, these games have been insane, and you have been a great co-caster to cast with. Like, I knew from the second you started talking, like, last week when I tuned in, I was like, this guy has the voice. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. He's definitely, this was not his first rodeo.
Now, if it was, it would be like, all right, I was born for this shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You got those, they had a story a couple years ago about, like, this homeless guy who had the golden voice. They had him, like, doing commentary for the NBA or something.
Wait, this was a story? Or was
yeah, this was like a news story a couple years ago.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't remember where it was, though. It was, like, just something random. They called him dude with the golden voice. It was honestly one of the inspirations I had to get into casting, because I was like, dude, If this guy can do it, and like he sounded like Samuel L. Jackson kind of thing, but it was like, if this guy can do it and like gets actually noticed, like I don't want to be noticed or anything, but fuck, this is actually a thing that people do.
Yeah, like, well, you don't want to be noticed. Like,
it's not like I don't want to be noticed. Like, don't notice me. It's more along the lines of like, I'm not looking to, you know, work for the NBA. I don't want to be scouted. Just like in StarCraft, you know, I don't want to be scouted. I want to get away with pulling off cheesy builds. I want to get away with a 9 pool, just like Pomato.
Wow, I could not have asked for a better transition to start talking about this game. Viletomato going for a pool first build here. I'm not actually sure it's 9 pool though.
Oh no, that was overpool. That was overpool. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, that looked like you said that. I was like, oh my god, is he doing an 9 pool? And then I looked at like the state of the game. I was like, wait, maybe. No.
It's overpool. It's a little bit late.
Okay.
Yeah.
You fooled me. That's for sure.
At the same time, though, this is going to be a last location scout for GoOn, so, like, if you wanted to get away with something cheesy, this would be the ideal circumstance for it, but you can't bank on that.
Yeah, best of one, always a good chance to go do some cheese. It's a little bit scary to cheese against people who, like, you've never seen play before, because sometimes, like, cheese counters other cheese. Like, for example, if I don't know, you as Protoss decide to go for 2 gateways in the center of the map and Zerg decide to go for 9 pool, one clearly beats the other.
And it's one of those things too where, like, in my games this week, I was like, you know what, this was, I'm not going to say the player, but like I had scouted someone and I was like, I feel like I don't respect them. And not like as a person, I just, like, as a player, I was like, I feel like I don't respect you. Yeah. And so I was like, I really want to cheese them this game. And the more I think about it, I psyched myself out. I was like, but
oh no,
what if it goes wrong? And like, I could win, I can beat them in a long game. So why would I cheese them? And then I ended up losing in a long game, and it was just like, fuck.
No, oh, it hurts.
But it's a lot of times, like, I play fighting games, and one of the things that you have go on there is, like, there's the concept of respecting your opponent too much. Because, like, you kind of have to try and get away with cheesy bullshit or, like, gimmicks. The same way that in StarCraft, you sometimes just want to get away with, like, testing someone's wall. Like, I don't think you actually know your SimCity. I don't think you actually, like, know how to pool your workers in micro and, like, drone drill. So you go in there with your first zealot, with your first couple of lings, and, like, you try and make them earn their respect.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you're just throwing away a possible opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. This is, honestly, that's kind of the way I've been playing TVP, or not TV, TVZ in preseason. Because a lot of times I'm just like doing my build, right? And then I scan their main and I don't see a Queen's Nest building. And I'm like, I actually don't think you're getting your defilers on time. And then I go for a tank push, and so far it's been working out for me, right? Like, tank push is one of those builds where, like, if the Zerg doesn't get defilers in time, you win.
Definitely. And that's kind of the idea of the whole respect thing. And even here, like, the 2 zealot move out, because of the fact, like, okay, yes, you can handle this with, like, 5, 6 lings, but when you put 2 lings at the front to scout it, and you're not paying attention, and 1 or 2 of them get picked off, and then, like, you don't move them to the right location afterwards, like, it's the kind of thing that requires a very specific response. And if you think your micro is better, then it's like, I'm going to make you be super inefficient in this state. So even though, yeah, like, usually throwing 2 zealots out on the map is just going to get countered and you're going to lose stuff, like, in this case, it's earn my respect. I'm not going to sit there and assume that you're good at the game.
Yeah, and these two zealots are actually doing like a fair bit of work. He's forced a lot of wings to be made and even killed a drone.
Yeah.
Vile is obviously going to eventually clean this up, but so far this attack has, I think this attack has paid for itself.
More than paid for itself. And just look at how many lings are out there. Like, this is actually insane damage that GoOn is getting. This is insane, just like production time, the larva cost, the amount of scouting that he's getting, seeing the spire up. Like, this is wild.
Yeah, and it's fairly impressive play from GoOn as well, right? Like, he's actually put himself in a fairly advantageous position against Vile, and I have to remind you guys, Vile mains Zerg. He does not main Protoss. So this, he should theoretically be advantaged in this situation if, like, this group was made, like, quote-unquote fairly, because his Zerg MMR, I get, like, his MMR should theoretically be dragged down by his Protoss.
Right. Now, we have a couple of Scourge coming over here, going to be hunting for the inevitable Corsair, but the big thing is there's so many cannons, like, everywhere, because he saw the Spire, he's expecting Mutalisks, that the Scourge are going to have a hard time hunting the Corsair. The Lings can't get in, so all of these attacking units that Pomato made are kinda useless, and Pomato now needs to find the time to drone up, which he's just gone on a big drone cycle. He's on 3 bases still, so, like, he's gonna get the eco he wants, but every cycle that you can force Zerg to get that he's not droning is time well spent as a Protoss player.
Yeah, that is the damage done through opportunity cost, right? Like, all those units could have been drones, all those units could have been, like, additional tech, additional bases, additional whatever, but basically, yeah, you're just preventing the Zerg from getting ahead, and by doing that, like, you're getting ahead yourself. So this is all very well done and well played from GoOn here.
I think that GoOn 2 is going to be having the chance to move in, doesn't have the +1 on the air, and also doesn't have, I think it's 5, maybe 6 Corsairs that you need without the upgrade to take out Scourge in one shot. But he's going to be hunting for these overlords. If he manages to find any of them, that even makes the situation worse, because then Larva need dedicated to the overlords to replace them. So this is just keeping Pomato, like, on the back foot and stuck in his base for as long as he can while GoOn gets his tech going, while Storm is coming out, because that's ultimately what you're waiting for.
Oh, he just barely doesn't get that overlord, though. But yeah, it's definitely more important to save the Corsair. That Corsair actually retreating with like 8 HP.
Yeah, it's
so
super
good
low.
on him for saving it. But now we sort of get into a bit of a lull in the game. I think both players are gonna just try to power up. I expect GoOn to, you know, be getting Storm, be massing up Templar and Dragoons, or once he massed up enough Templar and Zealots, he should start building a round of Goons and moving out onto the map.
And he's already getting the Dragoon attack range. This is like this is some song and dance that we have seen from GoOn a lot. When he played against Green Ash, or Ash Green.
Yeah.
But yes, this is kind of the exact same formula. But I think in that one, I believe that GoOn lost, and it was just because the that was when we had the overwhelming force of lurkers out of Ash Green.
Yeah, GoOn pretty much, like, he was doing a very good job of denying the Zerg 4th base, but he couldn't take a 3rd base of his own, and once Zerg had enough lurkers to finally be able to, like, defend the 4th, GoOn just kind of ran out of steam.
But in this case, so I like what Pomato's doing in just sending out lings to every single base, basically with the idea of, look, I can't really make it out onto the map right now with how much you've got the Corsairs up, with I know the fact that you've got the Templar tech coming up at some point, don't know when exactly. But with that understanding, he's like, all right, I can't take a 4th, I can't keep expanding, but I can know if you're taking a 3rd and just try and stay 1 base ahead the whole time.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, it kind of makes me wonder if this game was played after Vile played against Borisu, because he's just, like, if it was played after, like, if I had just experienced a game against Borisu, I would be sending a unit to every base location.
Absolutely. Well, there's no unit at the bottom left base, so I don't think so.
Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah. If not going against Borisu, the unit would always be on the bottom left.
Yup.
Always.
But at the same time, you know, the spawn is in the bottom right, so it is very reminiscent of Borisu. All right, a couple of...
All right, Vile actually has a flock of mutas out. I think he's going to try and snipe some Templar. We'll see how successful he is at that. One goes down. The second one, maybe. Storm completely misses those mutas, and he gets a third Templar as well, maybe a fourth.
I think that's all of them. And he storms himself. Gets the mutas for it, but still, that is the Templar count completely reset.
8 mutas for 5 Templar.
Yeah, 8 mutas for 5 Templar is a pretty decent trade, especially when you're up a base.
Yeah, that was certainly good for Zerg. Once you get rid of the Templar in the Protoss army, like, essentially all of its power goes away.
Right. That's when the Mutalisks can really come out and play, because... Or not Mutas, the Hydras. Yeah, Hydras are great against all gateway units except for Storm. And Storm is its own unit. It's not the High Templar, it's Storm.
Yeah, but I fear that Vile might have taken this engagement a little bit too sloppily. His units sort of came in like little by little in a line, and GoOn actually had an incredible concave on him as well. So that was a bit of an inefficient trade for Vile, but he's still confident that he can get something done here. He's continuing to take this engage, even when the Zealots are on top of the Hydras. He does not have enough units to push here.
Look at the reinforcements, though. Just a big line of Zerg units coming in. However, Vile is actually really struggling with his unit control right now in terms of wrangling all of his control groups. I wonder if he's even control grouping or just doing what I do and box selecting everything and being like, go here, go there, because it's just so hard to manage everything all at once.
That's definitely a bad habit that a lot of newer players have, and it's a bad habit to have, especially if you're controlling units that like you need to babysit, right? Like,
yes.
You can kind of maybe get away with that if you're like playing like, I don't know, TVP, and you're just like moving like a giant mech army around. You can like maybe get away with not having everything control grouped all the time, maybe. But like most of the time, if you need to do things like dodge storm, if you need to make sure you don't have stragglers, you need to have everything in a control group just so you can like get away from storm like that. Look at that.
Yeah, big storm right there. Another huge storm. God. These Templar are getting so much value. Good lord. And everything that's remaining is just on chips of health. So anything is just gonna knock out these Hydras. Like they're made of paper, and now they're made of wet paper.
Yeah, but I think I think we're still seeing the effects of getting those initial 5 Templar sniped from Protoss, because I feel like even though he's starting to build up Templar now, he still doesn't have that much Storm. Right now he has 2 Templar, and I think they might only have like 1 Storm each. No, not even.
They're out of storms.
Them. This army is actually basically just a wet noodle. If Vile brings his forces together, he can just wipe this.
And here they come. Big flanking action. They do have the high ground, but that's not going to be nearly enough Dragoons. And there's not enough energy. There's not enough time for energy for the High Templar. This could be a huge crush if he can make the connection, but they're going to dodge the flank. And this should still be...
are slow. Like, I fear he might get them picked off before they can recharge enough energy for Storm again. One of them do go down.
He's got just enough energy at 75 for a Storm.
All right, he saves one of his Templar. That is good to do. But Vile's army is becoming more and more scary by the second, and I'm not sure if Protoss will have enough splash damage by the next engagement to survive.
Yeah, and overall, the big thing is you just kind of need bodies. You need warm bodies in the Protoss army. One of the things you were talking about, like the count of High Templars. One of the things I think is kind of interesting, actually, with the Protoss army in like PvZ, is that when you kill off a High Templar in the Protoss army, it's kind of like killing drones in the Zerg army, because like, not only do you need to replace them, but every High Templar you make is a Zealot or a Dragoon you're not making at the time.
And if you kill Templar with like high energy, right? Like
like
it's also like a thing like similar to Zerg, where like the longer they've been there, the stronger they are, right? Like like for Zerg, it's like the longer you've had like your drone count for, the better your eco is. With Protoss, it's the longer you've had the Templar for, the more storm you have. So taking out those early Templar really put a damper on how much power the Protoss army had in the beginning of the game.
And it snowballs in like so many different dimensions. But okay, we've got ourselves a bit of an attack coming in on the low ground. Also going to be trying to make a move on the high ground with the Observer. A little bit of weak storms, but the spread on the lurkers is fantastic. Nice sandwich here.
Group of lurkers in the high ground are going to get cleaned up, but this Protoss army does not have the staying power to continue fighting here, and they're going to have to retreat once again.
I actually really like the positioning that Viletomato has there in terms of just keeping everything very loose and making it hard to engage on any one part of the army. Like, that's exactly how you need to beat this, but at the same time, GoOn is playing this really well in terms of getting his storms out there, not overcommitting on any one spot, and being able to just really control his army well in a way that we haven't been seeing in games prior.
Yeah, GoOn is actually playing this pretty intelligently as well. So Vile is playing a very good defensive game, and GoOn is sort of putting on the pressure and keeping Vile at home. Vile is on 4 bases, and GoOn is actually taking a 4th of his own. So, okay, Vile is taking a 5th base now, but I mean,
GoOn's been on 4.
Like, start getting like closer together in number, like it starts to favor the Protoss.
Right, and I think that, like, usually 4 bases for Protoss and 5 for Zerg is still considered slightly Protoss favored. You have to go to, like, 6 bases for Zerg, but even that, like, as you get more bases, the value of each base is reduced unless you need the gas income. So, it's kind of like, once you get a 4-base Protoss, they can kind of do whatever they want to in the game. And you can have a Zerg on 7, 8 base, and like all you're really getting is hatcheries and redundancy.
But Zerg is, you know, continuing to power up. They are getting a scary amount of units right now. I fear that if Protoss lets Zerg max out, like they're both going to max out at around the same time, but obviously a maxed out Zerg is so many more units than a maxed out Protoss.
The supply efficiency of Zerg is absolutely terrifying, and really the only thing that Protoss is getting to deal with that supply efficiency is storms. So it just comes down to how efficient and how effective are your storms.
Yeah, so
very big ones here.
Oh my god, huge storms coming out. But the high ground advantage is just too strong here. Like, how is Protoss supposed to push into that?
It's really hard, and oh my god, we have a big flank coming here from these lurkers and hydras as well. Like, this is a really good opportunity to just completely crush the Protoss force.
Oh my god, another huge storm on those hydras. But at this point, the storm has completely run dry, and there's still so many hydras out on the field. They're just going to mop up this army here.
He's weathered the storm, Pomato. Pomato completely out of gas at this point, just went crazy on hydras and more lurkers, but it might be enough. Not sure, really. This is starting to split out, go for more points on the map. This is going to be drawing a lot of attention away from GoOn as well. You can see him, he's got all of his army control grouped, but he's sending all of it to try and crush one spot at a time.
Yeah, these sort of little counterattacks here are really kind of doing wonders, but they're not doing wonders in terms of pulling GoOn around with his army, but they're not really getting that much damage done. And I think at this point we need to buckle in because we're going split map. This is going to be a late game. And I think I'm starting to understand why this group is so long.
I think this might actually be closer to the end than you think, if only because if you look at how low GoOn's minerals are, if Vile can get one more really good trade like we're seeing the potential for in the top right, then GoOn's going to have a really hard time of rebuilding his army because his bank is so low.
Oh my god, yeah, Vile manages to get like a whole group of lurkers burrowed right outside the choke point of GoOn, and GoOn does not have the storm to really exit or to really break out of that right now. Like, if you look, those lurkers are very, very close together. I think like 2 storms can like kill everything.
Not only that, there's actually no observer on this side of the map. So you'd have to storm it because your units literally can't get in there to hit.
Yeah, but where are the Templar? I think only one popped out recently, and that one doesn't have enough to
Yeah,
storm.
they don't have
This one
energy, they
also
don't have
doesn't enough to storm.
Kadar and Amulet, so they're not going to get the chance to storm here. This could be pretty devastating, but we do have GoOn counterattacking on the west side of the map, so we're going to see a split map, but not in the way we expected, honestly.
I see what you mean. Yeah, GoOn is desperately trying to hold on to this base and keep his Templar alive before Storm is ready.
Big Storm!
In fact, finish! And a lot of them are getting... I think we're going to see Zerg get mopped up here pretty soon. That one singular Storm actually like hit like 4 lurkers.
It's pretty crazy, but I mean, this attack is still ongoing. There's a huge funnel of Hydralisks and Zerglings coming in. They're going to take out these Dragoons. And again, Vile's bank is still really big. His supply is looking incredible. GoOn is the one who is looking like he's on his last legs. Having a hard time finding the storms, having a hard time resupplying. The supply just keeps on trickling downwards. And for the first time in almost 10 minutes, it's under 100.
Yeah, I think Vile might have done it. This now that he's on top of the production, I think the options are running out very fast for the Protoss. Like once all those gateways die, I don't think Protoss can do anything to come back.
And he's got a couple of gateways and production in other locations, I think. But it's all of his tech is here as well. You lose the Templar archives, you can't make Templar. You lose the observatory, you can't make observers. It doesn't take long, but at the same time, like, that's a lot to rebuild, and losing all of these gateways is just going to be too much. And yeah, he's actually done that. That's his only production. There's no production anywhere else. This game is over.
Yeah, I think Vile has done it with that attack. GoOn might have stretched himself a little bit too thin with his army, trying to attack the bottom left, trying to defend the left side. And Vile he just sniffed weakness and just went for it. He sent it.
I love the killer instinct, really. There's just this... One of the things that's so important in StarCraft is finding the timing and like having an instinct for this is when I should attack. And Vile has really shown that in a lot of his games, actually. And this kind of keeps him on trajectory to possibly be undefeated in his group.
Honestly, I think that I thought GoOn had probably the best chance of beating Vile.
Yeah.
And also vice versa. So, I mean, have we seen Vile versus ash.green yet?
I think we saw a Vile versus ash.green. I think the Vile versus the one Terran player, it starts with an S, whose name I can't remember, is the one that's left. I might be wrong, though. We need to... I
guess we'll have to go back to the screen to figure out.
We have one more game after this. This is continuing to go on. Like, GoOn is not tapping. He's just building up gateways in the top left.
Build the gateways here. Honestly, this game can still go on because losing the main and the natural, like, they're mined out anyway.
Yeah. The money was gone. It's just the buildings and the production and the tech. So he's got Reavers here. Reavers can actually do a lot of damage if you can't get on top of them. And with the cannons here, there's a lot of room for Reavers to do some serious work.
Damn, those lings, like, just killed that Reaver that, like, just popped out. Like, it was born into a world of pain. But the ones at the back are doing a very good job of keeping this base alive. Oh my god, Vile just spent so many units trying to break this base, and it's still alive here. But now with the Defilers out and Dark swarming up the natural, like, I'm not sure if GoOn can really hold on.
You play Terran, you know the pain of having a Dark Swarm on your natural. That's when it really is just, okay, game's not looking so hot no more, man.
Yeah, for sure. And even though Protoss does have Zealots to deal with it, I don't see any Zealots.
There's no Zealots, and there's Cracklings as well. Like, Zealots really don't like Cracklings. Even though I don't think these they have 1-1 in terms of upgrades. The upgrades this game have been a little bit sparse, honestly.
Yeah, unfortunately for GoOn, it's not going to matter. This game looks pretty much over at this point. Like, it's just a matter of time before he before Vile kind of comes up this ramp and kills these gateways as well.
I do appreciate the fighting spirit that GoOn is portraying. However, it is the wrong map for fighting spirit.
Good one. GG is called. Good game.
What an absolute mess. We've only got one more, though, and it is the game you were talking about. It's going to be Vile and ash.green.
Very nice. Very cool.
I gotta say, though, this is just... I think it was Vile who reached out. It was Vile and Borisu, I think, both were like, okay, do this group. And I looked at it in the log, and I saw that it was over 3 hours long, and I was like, oh, what is wrong with you people? But now that I'm here, I don't regret my life decisions.
Yeah, surprisingly, I feel like the TVT was not actually the longest game. It was all the other games were really long, and TVT was not that long.
It was long, but at the same time, we've just had so many half-hour games. Like, I don't think these players have gotten the memo that StarCraft is supposed to be a game that's over in 8 minutes.
I mean, I don't know where you got that memo.
Okay, maybe I'm just playing the game wrong then.
I mean, I guess if you go 9 pool every game, then StarCraft is, in fact, an 8-minute game for you.
It's only because I don't respect my opponent. That's what I said.
Right. It's that again. Yeah.
All right, yeah. But still, this is going to be kind of the cap to the game, or the series, and the big thing I want to see actually here is if Vile can bring this home, because he's had like a really phenomenal series where none of the games have been decisive in his favor, where it's like, oh yeah, I just absolutely crushed this person in 8 minutes. But everything has kind of worked out in his favor. So it's been a lot of grinders, but it's overall worked out with Vile being almost the king of the group.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only opponent left, and he is a bit of a final boss. ash.green, I mean, as I said originally, I feel like was the favored of the group. But in this case, even though Vile is technically playing on his off race, his main race is Zerg. So I have a feeling he should know this matchup pretty well.
Now, I guess the question is, though, at a certain point in StarCraft, you do kind of learn everything, like the build orders that you have to play against. Well, when you learn against it, you can usually play it and everything like that. But I guess there's so many tricks when it comes to playing each race. Like, you think about Terran and how Vulture Micro works, and how controlling your mines works, and how, like, placing your mines works. And, like, when you're playing Protoss against Vultures, of course you're going to have an idea, but you're not going to know the intricacies of, like, how to use mines to glitch your Vultures over minerals or things like that.
Yeah, so, I know exactly what you mean. Like, you sort of understand, like, how Terran is supposed to play, but you don't understand how to actually execute it, right? Like, you're like, okay, I know as Terran I'm supposed to lay mines everywhere, but then when you actually try to lay mines, right, like the Vulture only, like, lays one, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
I told you to lay mines. I did not tell you to lay... I told my 12 Vultures to lay 12 mines, and only one popped out. Like, how did that work?
And so I wonder, basically my thought here is that just because you're playing against your main race doesn't necessarily mean that you've learned all of the tricks for the race that you're off-racing into. Yes. To be able to control your zealots well, to wedge them behind minerals, to get Dragoon hit and run good. Or in this case, to get your forge and cannons up fast enough to really lock yourself in. He's going to lose a lot of probes here if he's not careful.
Yeah, this is actually a very aggressive opener from ash.green. I think I've been seeing Ash play like very aggressive openers in this group so far. Like, we see him go for like 2-base lurker, and now he's going for like this wing attack.
Well, before he'd gone
working.
for hatch first every game. This is the first time we see him go with the pool first build, and this is nasty in terms of the timing.
Yeah, this is so annoying for Protoss to deal with. He's like, he needs to like run his probes around. Like, oh my god, he's gonna get more kills with this.
Yeah, he's gonna get the Zealot. There we go. Pretty solid micro. Could have saved one more Ling, I think, but I kind of want him to just keep going for drones, but look at how much the mining has been disrupted.
Oh my god, another probe goes down. This attack has been so devastating.
And he's not even mining on half the mineral patches either. Like, he has 10 probes, and it's acting as if he has, like, 5. Because he has to keep putting them on the same...
Right now, I would literally want to leave. I'd be like, yeah, I hate this. I hate this so much.
This is the way I felt playing Terran against 2Gate in, like, 2005.
2Gate!
This is the way that I felt. Is just, I am microing constantly against the unit that you have that beats the crap out of my workers, that beats the crap out of my units, and what am I supposed to do about it?
Yeah, these Lings are quite literally running circles around Vile right now. Like, man, like, I don't know, the build is so far disrupted. Protoss is actually at a 7-worker deficit from Zerg. Oh my god, he built a cannon, it gets canceled.
This is insane. And like, so not only is it, again, a 7-worker deficit, a 9-worker deficit, not only is it that big of a deficit, but half of these probes aren't even working. You've only got 2 over on the natural, 3 on the natural, one of which isn't even mining. So like, all of this is just stealing attention away. And ash.green, even though he's floating minerals, like, who cares at this point? He's working on getting his lair. He's going to be able to get mutas. There hasn't even been a cyber core dropped. Like, there's no chance for Dragoons, let alone a Stargate.
I think the final boss might be a bit too much for our hero, Protoss, or race picker here. I think, wow. Well, the cannon manages to finish, so that pretty much brings the end to this Ling harass.
Right.
But it has done 500,000 times more damage than it needed to.
Yeah, this was just absolutely disgusting. And so you need to get that cyber core out yesterday, or you need to commit to just cannoning up like crazy. Because you know without a shadow of a doubt that your only options now are counterattack and win, or turtle up and stop the mutas because the mutas are coming.
Well, Vile is going to try to make something work here. He has 5 zealots and they're marching right across the map. Green does not quite have enough Zerglings to deal with it. If he tries to engage us here, I fear he might lose all of his Lings, but we'll see.
I think he's going to try and just counterattack. This is typically the way that you want to do this, is you don't want to send all of your Lings into all of the enemy zealots unless you have a huge advantage, which now you do. Okay.
Yeah, a whole bunch of Lings just popped out, and he's going to be able to clean this up. But actually, with another
yeah, this is a cleanup. This is a cleanup.
Yeah,
then the Sunken's done as well, so.
Yeah. To be fair, that did force a fair amount of Lings out of ash.green, but not nearly enough to even out the game. He needs to do this precise move like 5 more times for this game to even out, and I don't think it's going to work the second time.
Not even remotely. And so now these Lings are going to park outside of the natural. They're just going to look for when a move out happens, and there are already mutas in production. There are 4 mutas in production, and I think he's going to go up to like 7 mutas the same way you would against Terran, and just go in and try and harass, take out the cannons, because there's just a cyber core coming in now. There's no Stargate, there's no goons. Yeah.
I think we're going to see Mate in 2 very shortly here, right? Like, he really only needs to start massing mutas in a move, and there's not a whole lot that Protoss can really do, especially if he only has 1 cannon in the natural mineral line.
Right. I mean, he can try and put another cannon, like, over here, treat it like Terran, where you have to go missile turrets, but even then, the cannons are so fragile, just like missile turrets are, and you can't repair them. Think about how fast you have to be to repair missile turrets when you're playing against Mutas and as Terran, and then you can't even do that when you're playing Protoss.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, cannons do double the amount of damage that missile turrets do against Mutas. So they are a little bit scarier. You don't need quite as many to successfully defend a mineral line.
I forgot about the damage types, yeah.
Yeah, regardless, 7 Mutas is more than enough to deal with what Vile has here.
Absolutely. And he's going to lose a couple of them, but actually he doesn't have quite enough yet. But, oh, he takes out the cannon on the front, and now the Lings come in. But they're not going to get anything done. There's the cannons.
Yeah, the cannons are still there. He's going to try and pick off this one on the bottom side, but the Corsair just barely popped out on time. And looks like Vile is fine.
If Vile comes back and actually manages to win after that insane opener from Ash,
then you know why Vile, you know the real reason why Vile told you to cast this game.
Yeah, because he's sitting there like, hey man, you know what? I'm feeling myself. You know, the games where it went to a half an hour, the sun was in my eyes, my shoe came untied, but in the end, I'm the best in my group. That's what it is. That's all that anybody needs to know.
So he loses the Corsair, but I feel like Vile at this point has completely stabilized. I'm really surprised though that Ash has chosen to, transition into Hydras, because I feel like if he just kept pressing the M button, like he would eventually maybe overwhelm that position. Although I'm neither Zerg nor Protoss, so maybe I just have PTSD from getting destroyed by Mutas. But either way, this attack does seem to be working.
Sorry about that, folks. I forgot. This is the one game I forgot to put the replay progress off on.
Listen, I didn't even notice.
The chat did, though. Those are the ones.
Oh, no.
Okay, Ash, he's got the break, though.
I'm not going to look at chat. This is definitely working. Like,
yeah, this is basically just a delayed Hydra bust with Muta support.
Yeah. Now that the probes are under fire once again, like, the economy situation is already looking bad for Vile, but now it's gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, this is, he doesn't even have power. There was a Dark Templar coming out. That's what he's going for the Hail Mary play and just making Dark Templar. So he's gonna kill off the Hydras, but the Mutas are gonna go uncontested. And as long as he just focus fires the cannons with the Hydras, then he should be okay.
Yeah, you cannot mind this base as Vile, and you need this base more than anything else.
So, I mean, these DTs are going to get work done, for sure. But as long as you kill off the cannons before the Hydras die, this game is over.
These traits are very, extremely, super inefficient for Zerg, though. Like,
who needs efficiency? You have double the workers. And yeah, now you can just take out the workers without even going in range of the cannon.
Yeah, as soon as the 2 cannons died before the Mutas, yeah,
that's GG.
There's nothing we can do.
Dude, yeah, that is, we have no king of the group.
Wow.
That's, I thought for sure that Vile was gonna take. I don't like to talk smack on players. But seeing ash.green's performance in the previous 3 games from the set, I was unimpressed. They're better than I am, but I was unimpressed.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You mean. He didn't seem to play like particularly well, especially in that Zerg versus Terran game that he played.
Yeah.
But this time around, he really showcased like his mostly his micro, honestly, with the first couple of Lings. Like, I've seen that particular event happen. I think it's like a canon event for like Protoss players to experience that. But I've seen that happen and not do that much damage, right? Like 4 Lings like seems like a disaster, but then like Protoss will just like do a drill. They'll have like a zealot, right? Like, and then like the forelings just like don't end up doing that much damage. But Ash microed and like literally ran circles around Vile, killing like more probes that I even thought was like possible in a game between like two fairly even ranked players.
No, this was the game where like it went from, okay, this is a pretty decent Zerg player, but like well matched in not only the group but like the peers, I guess you'd say, to, oh, when he's feeling himself, this is how he plays.
Yeah, he definitely locked in this game. Good job to Ash, though, being the final boss that prevents Vile from being king of the group.
I just realized I hadn't even updated the scorecard from GoOn as well, but no, this is RiceHat. I gotta thank you for coming out here tonight. I know it was like kind of impromptu. This is the first time we've been chatting with each other and everything, but like this was super, super fun, and everybody in CPL has been so friendly and so supportive, and like, God, I'm glad I found this place.
I'm absolutely glad you're here. I knew from the first cast that you would be probably the best caster ever, and
You're
you know
way
what I'm
too
saying?
kind. You're way too kind,
I
man.
remember watching the cast, and someone was just like, I want this guy to co-cast with me. I was like, nah, he's mine. I'm taking him. Back off. Like, I need to cast with this guy. He's, you know, he has the caster voice. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. He sounds like a caster when he talks.
Well, what it is then, we gotta reach out there. Everybody in chat, Fartcraft Butt War, you gotta like gift a sub to him or something, except don't, my channel's not worth subbing to. But because he's the one who set us up, so you know, just like this was the matchmaker.
Yeah. And he picked a good group to cast as well. That was incredible.
Hell yeah. All right, guys, it is late though. We have been doing this for way too long. And I know that RiceHat needs his beauty sleep, so
yes.
I'm going to go ahead and close it out here. All you guys, thank you very much, and give a big thank you to RiceHat as well, because this is the real star of the show.
Nah, bro. It's all you. It's all you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful night.